ability to set policy. Bad storms could move into Indiana on Friday, but Jason Puma with the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says weather could also get nasty next week. He's just not sure about the severity of it.
It's a little too soon to say at this time, but it's something we'll certainly be watching as those storms evolve.
Damaging winds and heavy rain are the two big things to watch out for right now. One person is dead following a crash involving the Purdue University vehicle. The crash happened on Thursday along US 52. Two people who were in the Boilermaker Special, who are Purdue students, were taken to the hospital as a precaution. A Purdue spokesperson said they were both released from the hospital Thursday evening. A fire early this morning damaged 2 homes and left several people without a place to stay. That fire is continuing and we'll have more updates as we go through. Fire crews were called to that neighborhood near Woodhaven Cemetery and arrived to find this one house on fire with flames spreading to the next. Again, more updates to come as firefighters from Speedway, Brownsburg, and Avon all are helping out. Howard County Prosecutor Mark McCann says he's facing an uphill battle. John Herrick explains.
McCann said they had to release 2 suspects from custody in a 2006 murder case because they didn't have the staff to prosecute it.
I knew this was going to happen, didn't think it was going to be so soon. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen again unless we get additional resources in our office.
He says they need roughly 24 full-time deputy prosecutors to effectively manage their caseloads, but right now they only have 11. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
And then, last night,
with the 14th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Tyler Warren, tight end, Penn State.
That's right. The Colts have added Tyler Warren to their roster. The day 2 of the draft continues tonight at 7 p.m. following the coverage on our sister station, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. Now traffic. Matt Bear, what's happening?
What's going on, Kyle? And eastbound 465 slow from Madisonville Road over to I-69 at East 75th Street closed from Graham over to Bimford, and East 75th should reopen on May the 7th. That's closed right now for Nickel Plate Trail construction. Traffic sponsored by True Green. True Green, get a golf course quality lawn for less than you think. Sign up at truegreen.com. That's TRUgreen.com. True Green, the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour. I'm Matt Bear on the 5s at WIBC Traffic.
You've got weather in 1 minute, along with the start of Kendall Casey.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through May 4th, new customers can get started with 300 megabit internet and Security Edge for $69 a month for 24 months. And ask how to get free installation on qualifying bundles. Plus, find out how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig bundle. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. After 24 months, regular rates apply.
Spring's here and it's time for a new patio. Indy Decorative Concrete is offering free demolition. Offer ends April 30th. Visit IndyDecorativeConcrete.com for details.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
Now your weather from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Cloudy, humid, scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day, a high of 74. Rain winds down late tonight, partly cloudy, cooler, a low of 49. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
Thank you, Marcus. I'm Kylan Talley on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey begins right now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey?
Yeah, Rob?
Had a fascinating conversation with Ryan Hedrick out in the lobby.
Yeah?
And I think I figured out what's happened to us.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. I think I know
I'm
what's going on
glad you got
now.
to the bottom of it. What happened to us?
Well, they wrapped up the legislative session last night.
Yeah, it was 1:38 when I heard Sine die.
You know, and this is, and we've got into this a couple times over the past few weeks. This is not how any business would run. It's not how our society should run, where you just have all of these bills and all of these things just being jammed down people's throats at the last minute that nobody's reading, that most people aren't understanding. And this is how our government operates. I mean, what we have seen, there's all this month of buildup, and then everything changes, all the testimony, all the transparency, it all goes away. I mean, again, it's whose line is it anyway? Where the tagline to Whose Line Is It Anyway, which was a great show in the late 90s and early 2000s, where Drew Carey would have all these comedians on stage. He'd give them these prompts. They'd do the things that he would tell them to do. The tagline was, where the game's made up and the rules don't matter. And what the General Assembly has once again proven is the game is made up and the rules don't matter, and it doesn't matter what we hear in the committees. It doesn't matter what testimony we receive. We're going to do whatever we want to do. We're not going to read the stuff. We're not going to understand it. And that's what we saw again. I was so hopeful that this year would be different, and clearly Nothing has changed. Mike Braun mattered zero. Micah Beckwith mattered zero. It was the same old, more taxes, more government, more crony capitalism. Screw you.
Same circus, different clowns. Is that what you're saying?
Let's play. Do we have the Mike Young clip?
We do.
Okay. Don't take my word for it. Here is Mike Young. He has been there, by the way. Mike Young, and I agree with a lot of his politics, but he's been there since the earth was young. I think we did the math. I was 2 years old, when he went into the Indiana General Assembly. So he is a political lifer, right?
Yeah.
But he does know how the system works, okay? All right? He does know how the system works. And if anybody knows how it's supposed to operate, it would be Mike Young, Republican from the Plainfield, Indianapolis area. Let's just play a little clip of him talking about what went on last night.
I don't cuss. I won't say what I'm thinking. But this is bull crap. That you got a 116-page bill and you got 30 minutes to read it, I didn't even know about it. We should have more time than that. If I was the author of this bill, although I really love Jeff Rotz, Senator Rotz, I do love him. But if I was the author of the bill and someone asked me to pull it back because they didn't have a chance to read it, I would have done that to honor the members so they could read and know what's in it. I don't know if any of you know what's in this bill. If some of us had the opportunity to read it, maybe we wouldn't vote for it. But I'm PO'd about this. This is not the way this should operate. We should have the opportunity to read the bills before us and understand what's going on. And we didn't have that opportunity. I am so mad about this. Our only job is to do what's right for our constituents. And we can't do it if we don't have a chance to read the dang bill. I don't know why we want to operate that way. I don't have any problem with the process on your part. You can move those on, and we got time to do it. I'm talking about calling it down. They know it's 116 pages. We can't read it. And I trust Senator Rotz with all my heart that he told us everything that's in this bill. But I've been in caucuses where we talk about what's in the budget bill or other bills, and all of a sudden, because we're a human being, somebody forgets to mention something that's in the bill. I can't hold that against a person because they are human beings.
Okay, pause. Wait. First of all, no, Mike Young, you're not that naive. You see, like what the governor did yesterday when he was on Hammer and Nigel. He talks about how they're going to fill the budget gap, and he mentions, we're going to cut $1 billion. Well, he knows there's $2 billion to be found, and he deliberately doesn't mention. He looks right at these guys and deliberately, as he's about to walk himself down to the State House directly from that interview and make the announcement, the billion-ish in tax increases. So no. We don't give these people the benefit of the doubt because they are deliberately deceptive. They go out of their way to make sure people don't have information, and this is how your government runs.
And it's all ran through at the last minute. The thing that surprised me the most, and I was texting you going, I didn't even know they could do that. They were changing SB1 last night during the budget bill process.
Oh, no, Casey. They can suspend the rules whenever they want. This is what, if you remember at our rally at the governor's mansion the other night, Dr. Dan Stock, who's a really, really, really brilliant physician, was talking about this, that Houston, the speaker, can do whatever he wants. He's the most powerful guy in the State House. They can suspend the rules. They can do whatever. The rules don't matter, right?
The rules don't apply.
The game's made up and the rules don't matter. They can suspend the rules and go into silly season and do whatever they want to do, and that's what they do at the end of session. That's exactly what he was talking about, is how they rig this system to get whatever desired result they want. All right, so Ryan Hedrick and I were talking about this, and he's going to come on Monday and go into detail with this. So Ryan Hedrick is our very fabulous news guy here at WIBC. And as many people know, Ryan Hedrick has a podcast called Supporting Sobriety with Matt Bear, where they both are very brave about talking about their serious addictions. Matt Bear's was alcohol. Ryan Hedrick was addicted to crack. And this podcast is, if you've never heard it, it's incredible radio. Like, even if you're not an addict or don't know anybody who's an addict, it's incredible radio to listen to these guys bare their soul each week about what they went through. And Ryan and I were talking about this, what took place over the past couple of months in the General Assembly, and specifically we were talking about the property tax bill. And I said last night, we'll go into detail on this a little bit later. Last night I went to a meeting where the town of Brownsburg is proposing upwards of $100 million. $100 million, Casey, on a swimming pool,
an aquatic center,
a rec center, and an amphitheater. That's on top of a $4 million empty patch of grass they paid for, which sits in the heart of Brownsburg.
Yeah.
And yet, we were told you don't get property tax relief because, well, the policeman could get fired, or the fireman could get fired, or there'll be no teachers. We'll be in one-room schoolhouses. Well, the superintendent in Mooresville said, we'll turn the lights off in Mooresville.
Yeah.
And I said, I went to a meeting last night where they're pondering, they have $100 million laying around for a pool, a rec center, an amphitheater. There's a $58.5 million taxpayer-funded hotel in Carmel. There's a $36.5 million G League arena in Noblesville. But we were led to believe that these people were going to fire police and that the lawmakers believe this. And he said, Rob, what this is, and we talk about this all the time in recovery, is called emotional blackmail.
Yep. It's a form of manipulation.
He said, what drug addicts will do, or people who are addicted to anything will do, is when they don't get what they want, they will immediately go to the most extreme thing, not because they believe it, but because they know it's the best way to get their desired result. And so Ryan's going to be with us Monday to do a deep dive on how, because he said these politicians are way worse than some of the people I've met in recovery on how they do this and how they manipulate people. And he was spot on. The behavior he was describing and the specific things that I think he'll go into Monday are exactly what is taking place down the street from us at the State House. Emotional blackmail and manipulation so that these people can get whatever desired result it is that they want, both at the local and the state level.
It's very subtle, but also very powerful. Think about this. Some common tactics in emotional blackmail: fear, guilt, obligation.
Boy, howdy.
You could probably, if you think about it, cite specific examples that we have heard in testimony over the past few weeks. Exactly. Fear, guilt, and obligation.
Yeah, these people should all be ashamed of themselves, and we'll spend a lot of the show getting into this today. So let's talk about some of the stuff they did last night when we come back, shall we?
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
This May, you've got a chance to see what an IndyCar driver's dream garage really looks like. WIBC's Tales from the Track, presented by Relay Indiana, takes you inside Graham Rahal Performance, a high-octane hangout where racing meets luxury. Hammer and Nigel sit down with Graham for great stories, laughs, and insights from someone who grew up on the hallowed grounds of the IMS. But this backstage pass to speed, style, and surprises is sold out. The only place to register to win tickets is WIBC.com.
Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity is up. Now is the best time in years to sell your home. However, some homes are sitting on the market. Hiring an expert who can maximize equity and minimize hassle is the key. That expert agent I recommend is our buddy, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried with a challenging market, you won't sell your home for the price it's worth. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Tim and Becky in Bargersville had to say about working with Mark Dietl. We're ready to downsize. We tried the big national instant offer route and got jerked around because that company canceled the sale a week before closing. We called Mark Dietl to step in and help, and his team delivered big. We had multiple offers in 4 days, and we sold as is for the price we needed. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold, or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietl at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietl.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Turning 65, new to Medicare, or just moved? If you qualify for Medicare and Medicaid, a Humana Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan, a D-SNP, may give you the extra benefits you're looking for. A D-SNP helps cover things like prescriptions and checkups, but it also helps pay for essentials, too. With a Humana D-SNP, you get $225 a month for eligible groceries, rent, utilities, and more. Plus, whatever you don't spend carries over to the next month. You may even get benefits like $0 copays on routine prescriptions, plus routine dental, vision, or hearing coverage. All of this could make a difference for your health and wallet. Learn more at GetHumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a coordinated care HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the Indiana Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal. Allowance amounts cannot be combined with other benefit allowances. Limitations and restrictions may apply.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade this Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
Amber and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
So let's talk about how people got screwed last night, shall we, Casey?
Are you talking about how the Indiana lawmakers approved the state budget after 1 a.m.?
So let's think about this. The state budget is 220 pages.
That is shorter than SB 1 was.
The property tax bill, this is how convoluted and what a dumpster fire is. Anytime Braun tries to sell this now, just look at him and go, Mr. Governor, why was the property tax bill 140 pages longer than the entire state budget?
Isn't that something?
Let that sink in. The entire state budget is 220 pages. The property tax bill by itself, 360 pages. You think anything good was going on in the extra 140 pages? No, of course not. And so last night, I can't say that, these individuals opened essentially, they did it through a mechanism, right? They did it through different means, another piece of legislation, but they essentially revisited Senate Bill 1.
And they were making changes on it. And we even mentioned it because we were at that rally and we had some veterans who were coming and talking to us and saying, I think we're in worse shape now.
Yes. So think about that.
That was recognized.
All of this stuff that's been going on, and they screwed it up so bad that the veterans are like, we can definitively see how we're getting screwed in this.
Mm-hmm.
So they revisit the thing. Think about all the outrage they've heard over the past 2 weeks from people. There's nobody other than Chamber of Commerce and their big business friends who are like, man, this is great. They basically reopened the thing last night, and they do some little twerk for veterans.
Yeah, but not everybody else. I mean, good for the veterans.
Yeah, great.
But the rest of you,
they know everybody else is pissed off too, and they were like, we're not doing that. So our pal Delaney, right, friend of the show, he spoke about this.
He did. Here he is talking about his surprise that they were still working on that bill.
That we just spent a few minutes ago just amending Senate Bill 1. Think about it. How confused are we? I was on a TV show today with Representative Lopez and one of our fine senators. We had a good chat. I didn't know I was about to change Senate Bill 1 again. I thought I was talking about the one we passed last week. I predict to you that we'll be back here next year fooling with Senate Bill 1.
Well, they should be because we were promised reform.
Yeah. I mean, it's a dumpster fire. They don't know what's in it. The local governments don't know what's in it. There is any person who tells you they have any idea what the ramifications of that bill are going to be are lying right to your face because nobody knows. And how insulting is it to you that they bring it back and they have an opportunity? Last night they could have said, hey, we've heard the outcry. The people are pissed. We're just going to scrap this thing and we'll spend the next year doing the deep dive on it, and we'll come back with some sort of recommendation next year. They had every opportunity, clearly based on the fact that they are making changes to it.
Right.
They could have changed whatever they want. They hate you. They believe you're worth $200. Now, their big business friends are worth $60,000.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to play this clip from Representative Hundley.
And I also want to point out, as we mentioned earlier, the correlation with Senate Bill 1. We cannot forget the fact that Senate Bill 1 was really a win for corporations, but a loss for everyday Hoosiers.
Oh, and these are Democrats, by the way.
Correct.
Because that's what this bill was. It was Jeff Thompson and Mike Braun. Now, Braun doesn't know his head from his ass, so he has no idea what's actually in this bill. But it was Jeff Thompson with Mike Braun agreeing to go along with it.
Okay.
And Bray and Houston serving their corporate masters. This was a business tax reduction bill. That's what the whole thing became. They're getting $60,000. You're getting $200. Does that seem fair to you?
No, not so much. It's not equitable.
But look at everything they did this session. It's what they've done year after year after year after year. The Braun is now Holcomb 3.0 because we had Holcomb 1.0, Holcomb 2.0. Braun is now Holcomb 3.0, in which everybody else is paying higher taxes, which look at what they did. They raised taxes on the regular people. And who got the breaks? The big corporations.
Yep.
Look at what they did with the utilities. Braun said he wasn't going to raise utility rates. They're going to go up. That SMR bill where you, the ratepayer, are going to pay for these monopolies to Dr. Frankenstein nuclear energy, whether it succeeds or not. Braun said he wouldn't sign that. He did. He signed it. Your utility bills are going to go up. Smokers, they're paying more. And by the way, I have seen so many people that are outraged about this. Some people are more outraged about this than they were the property tax, thinking it's like, no. No. You think paying $2 extra for a cigar or some cigarettes is bad? Let's just do some math, Casey. If someone makes $100,000, let's just do that as a nice round number, okay? If someone makes $100,000, which is not a lot of money in our society anymore. I mean, like when I was a kid, I remember hearing the idea of $100,000. Like, man, I hope I can make $100,000 someday. And 20 years ago it was a pretty good little living. But if you make $100,000, and let's just say you're capable of living in a $300,000 home, so you'll get the $300 property tax deduction. But now your local government, which couldn't do it before, can raise your local income tax. Let's just say they don't take the full freight. Let's just say they don't lean into all they could. Because I don't want people to say, well, Rob is exaggerating he's a shock jock. He's exaggerating for dramatic effect. Let's say they take about half of what they could take.
Okay.
So let's say it's half of the 1.2 or whatever the number is that they can take now. Well, public school math tells me that if I'm making $100,000 and they take 0.6 of that, that's $600. So the state, quote unquote, gave me $300, but they then enabled somebody who couldn't before to take $600. So Casey,
you're at a net loss, buddy.
What is 300 minus 600?
300.
Negative $300.
Correct.
And Braun with a straight face. Now, he won't look at us anymore because, of course, he ain't going to do that because he's not dare ever going to come on this show because he knows how that would go. Looks at Hammer and Nigel's audience or tells Tony Katz on the phone, oh, no, this is a win for taxpayers.
Right.
Oh, no. Casey, how is
historic and proud?
How is 300 minus 600, which we have done the public school math is negative 300, how is that a win for anyone? Who is that a win for?
It's a win for big business in the state of Indiana.
That's correct.
It's not a win for Hoosiers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not done with this yet, so can we keep... so much happened last night.
We've got to.
Okay, great.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Indiana patients rely on many types of pharmacies to access their medications and critical healthcare services. But a proposal being considered in the Indiana legislature called SB 140 would disrupt access to medications for Indiana patients. SB 140 would impose government mandates blocking access to critical pharmacy options and services in Indiana. Lost access to pharmacy options would directly harm many of Indiana's most vulnerable patients, including patients fighting cancer and heart disease, many of whom rely on specialty pharmacies for their care. SB 140 would even hike costs for Indiana patients by imposing a $10 tax on every prescription filled in the state. That would often fall directly on the patient. Tell your state legislator, protect access to medications, reject higher costs. Put Indiana patients first by voting no on SB 140. Paid for by conservatives for lower healthcare costs.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
We're getting some scattered showers across the state right now. It's sprinkling, 64 degrees downtown at our monument circles. Your high is 70 today. I'm Kylan Talley. Here's what's trending at 9:30.
We're leaving and going to Rome, where we'll be attending the funeral of Pope Francis.
President Donald Trump took questions before his flight to Pope Francis's funeral this morning.
We're going to meet with a lot of the foreign leaders. They want to meet. Trade deals are going very well. I think Russia and Ukraine, I think they're coming along, we hope. Very fragile. And Iran, I think, is going very well.
Increasing revenue and improving health are two reasons House Speaker Todd Houston says lawmakers raised the cigarette tax by $2. He spoke about this after the House passed a nearly $45 billion budget.
There is no program that's going to be better than raising tobacco taxes to diminish people from using those types of products and helping Indiana be healthier. So we feel like those two things kind of combine.
And patients at Ascension St. Vincent in Evansville received a visit from Indy 500 Princess Natalie Restivo. Restivo, a nursing student at the University of Southern Indiana, made a bead friendship bracelet and read children's books about the Indy 500. She expressed how rewarding it was to connect with the patients, saying it was a really nice way to talk to each other and learn more about one another. She shared her plans to pursue a career in nursing with one patient who aspires to be a history teacher, and she read a story about a sweet boy. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Stock futures are sliding after a 3-day winning streak. Dow is down 105 points to 40,157. The S&P is down 450 to 5,506.75, and the NASDAQ is down 36 points to 19,286. I'm Kylan Talley, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. The greenhouse is filled with great spring color and tropical plants. Sundown Gardens is your one-stop shop this spring for all things home and garden. Hanging baskets, bedding flats, tropicals, vegetables, herbs, herbaceous perennials, trees, shrubs, home decor, and more. If you need it for your home or landscape, Sundown Gardens has it. Now's the time to get your home beautified for all summer. Sundown Gardens, located on the corner of Spring Mill Road and 186th Street in Westfield.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
From a fast break to recovery, Indiana hospitals are here for every Hoosier, regardless of their ability to pay. That's why we're teaming up with legislators on a winning playbook to lower costs and protect access to care across our communities. Because good policy doesn't leave anyone on the sidelines. Learn more at HoosierLifeline.com.
Paid for by the Indiana Hospital Association.
We all need a certain level of socialization to remain mentally sharp and healthy, especially when living with a life-altering diagnosis. This is Tina McIntosh, president of Joy's House and co-host of the Caregiver Crossing radio program. Coming up are suggestions that can help improve that loneliness your loved one may have.
Cardon and Associates offers the finest senior living options tailored to your loved one's needs. Reservations are now being accepted for new apartments at Copper Trace in Westfield. Visit cardon.com.
Create a routine that both you and your loved one can look forward to. Plan social activities and outings. They promote connection and reduce those feelings of isolation. Recruit your friends and family to participate. And if possible, use adult day centers to engage your loved one and give you that much needed break. More tips like this are available anytime at caregivercrossingradio.org. With new weekly content created by Joy's House and distributed in partnership with Network Indiana, we're an on-air and online support group for Hoosier family caregivers. Hear conversations with experts, access the library of online education, and more at caregivercrossingradio.org.
Your future holds so much potential. The question is, are you planting the right seeds today to make it flourish? At Howard Bailey Financial, we strive to help you create a retirement plan that can adapt to your evolving needs, offering guidance to bring you clarity, confidence, and purpose along the way. Whether you're just beginning or refining your financial strategy, we're here to support you. Let's grow something lasting together. Text GROW to 888-262-1104 to start planning for your future full of possibility. That's GROW to 888-262-1104. Take the first step today. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
So we're doing our best to try to let you know how much you got screwed last night.
At one point, you had the House debating the budget, and then you had the Senate debating the budget. And if you were doing like picture-in-picture and you decided, hey, let's have some fun with this and take a shot every time they say fiscal responsibility or freedom, well, you would have been drunk within minutes.
Well, let's Kev, can you cue the Miss Rachel for people who may not have heard our show yesterday? It's very complex, and they use this government speak, and they really manipulate you, and you get your head spinning, and they don't even know what they're voting on. I mean, they make all these changes. I mean, this is what is so outrageous is all of these issues get changed at the last minute, and even the people who know how to cover this, like Nikki Kelly, she told us the other day, she's like, you have no idea half the time. There's no way these guys know what they're voting on because we can't even keep up with what they're doing.
Well, and then they just put things in the last minute. I mean, there was a lot of discussion last night because they put in the budget that the governor can now determine the trustees at IU.
Right. So, what we did over the weekend, or not over the weekend, over the last couple of days, is I went to management and I said, look, I know money's tight, but we're the number one rated radio show. We're a big powerhouse. We have to have a few bucks laying around so that I can enlist a real celebrity to try to simplify what's gone on with taxes and spending and cronyism in the 2025 legislative session, and finally got approval to enlist Miss Rachel. Now, most people with kids or grandkids know Miss Rachel is a YouTube superstar, hundreds of millions of views. She helps kids learn to speak and think and does all sorts of children's activities. And so Miss Rachel's very expensive, as you might guess. So we only got about 20 seconds. I can only afford about 20 seconds.
Sure.
And so I said, Miss Rachel, in 20 seconds, can you explain to our audience what happened with taxes, what happened with growth of government, and what happened with crony capitalism in 2025 in Indiana?
Wow, you say it and we'll go up. Go up, go up, go up. Yay, you did it! Now we can go up. So high. Up so high.
And that's what happened. Think about these people who run our society. I've said this for years about how just genuinely stupid and uninquisitive these people are. Like, if you gave a lot of these people an IQ test, sometimes for dramatic effect, Rob's just over the top. I think if you gave some of these people an IQ test, you would be shocked at what the number came back at. So these people are supposed to be the best and brightest amongst us, but they so screwed up their most important responsibility. The number one job these people have, when you are a lawmaker, whether you're a local lawmaker, a state lawmaker, or a federal lawmaker, is to pass a budget. Now, they never pass a budget in Washington, right? It's always these continuing resolutions. So insight into those people. But at a state level, your number one most important job is to pass a budget. And they're so incapable of basic economics or understanding the finances or the landscape in front of them that they blew the budget by $2 billion. And then think about what they did. They admit to you in the last moments, take the tax increases off the table. We'll get to those in a second. They admit to you, the governor sat right here and admitted that in the last days, they found $1 billion of waste. That is even more egregious than the $1 billion of taxes.
Right. Oh, once we looked into it.
Remember when we sat here and I made that presentation to Braun and said, I could find $2 billion in a month and nobody know it's missing, and everybody in the State House, oh, he's just doing Rob Kendall stuff again. You could never find $2 billion. They found $1 billion behind closed doors in a week.
Right. Yes, I know. And Braun took that piece of paper. Your proposal said he was going to put it in his office. Wonder if it's still there. Wonder if they used that as inspiration to find $1 billion in a week.
Remember, I hit the target. I said, I think I could find, what was the number? $4 billion, I think is what I said I could find, and how much money that would come back. And everybody was like, that's utterly ridiculous. You don't even know what they cut from the billion. I guarantee Braun probably doesn't know most of it either. And so let's come to this, because the tax increases are their own thing. This is your government, and it played out in real time. This is why they hate this show, because nobody else talks about this the way we do. We pull the mask back because I'm nerdy enough to have invested 15 years of my life in this, and we're good enough entertainers to make it something people want to listen to. A select amount of people in this state are so powerful. Your 150 lawmakers mean nothing. A very select group of people, really 3 people, Bray, Houston, and Thompson. So Rod Bray, the head of the Senate, Jeff Thompson, the Speaker, the head of Ways and Means, and Todd Houston, the Speaker of the House, are so powerful that they can just bark orders at 147 other people, and they just do it.
I think you need to add Mishler when it comes to the budget, because he was the one who did a lot of work on crafting it.
Well, yeah, and then there's minions, right? It's like any criminal organization. I'm watching this documentary on Hulu about the history of the American mob, and you realize, yeah, there's the tippy top guys, and then there's the underbosses. I think we'll start describing these people as underbosses.
There's the ones who direct, and then the other who execute.
Yeah, and that's basically what we're running down there, is a criminal enterprise in which the mafia bosses dictate, the leaders of the 5 families are barking orders. You've got the underbosses who carry out the mission, and the foot soldiers, who are the state reps and senators, are just the rank and file who do these. They don't read it. They don't go through it. They don't analyze it. They don't talk about it. Hey, Houston said do it. Bray said do it. Okay, what do we vote on? Don't know.
Bray said, at the end of the day, this budget will meet the needs of Hoosiers while protecting our taxpayers.
Protect us from what? There's all sorts of tax increases.
Right.
What are we being protected from?
It could have said, at the end of the day, this budget will meet the needs of big business.
Yes.
And that would have been believable.
And by the way, shame on Braun and shame on Micah. Because whether you could actually stop this or not, I mean, you guys were basically France with the Nazis. Yeah, we're going to fight. And then you just stepped back and said, just kidding, come on in. Where was the fight from these guys? Where was the battle? Well, I thought that was why we elected you people, was it's going to be different this time. These guys may pull their bull crap, but we got 2 guys
Fight!
We got 2 guys at the tippy top. I've yet to see Micah Beckwith say anything about the budget. Massive tax increases. Maybe he did this morning. I don't know. But they've known what the budget was going to be for 2 or 3 days now with these tax increases. Where's he? It's the same thing we ran into with the property tax bill. Why did we vote for you people? What would have been any different if Julie McGuire had been the lieutenant governor? The answer is nothing. And so I think that's what's so disheartening for so many in our audience. Not that the lawmakers are doing lawmaker stuff.
We expect that from them.
It's that the guys who are supposed to be helping us shine the light on this, helping mobilize the people.
Rolled over.
Yeah, there's no fight. There's no nothing.
You know they want to keep that cushy job they have.
But think about this. The Speaker of the House and the pro tem of the Senate can boss the governor around. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Mike Braun is totally subservient to Bray and Houston.
Well,
That's
to them,
wild.
and we also found out that your local government and your school boards are more powerful than the governor.
It is. Okay, so did you see Laura Loomer is coming after Todd Houston?
Welcome to the party, national influencers.
Can we take a break and talk about this, because no one deserves Laura Loomer's attention more than Todd Houston.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, a shift in tone on China, but will it mean no tariffs in the future? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Promises made, promises kept. Governor Mike Braun's bold leadership is already getting things done for Hoosiers. Governor Braun and State House Republicans are delivering massive property tax cuts. We're talking nearly $1.5 billion in relief. That's real money back in homeowners' pockets. But Braun didn't stop there. He cut local income tax capacity by nearly $2 billion and capped the local income tax rate to protect Hoosiers. And Braun led the fight to reform local government taxes, giving Hoosiers more say by requiring referendums be held in high turnout elections. Thanks to Governor Braun and State House Republicans, your property taxes will be lower. Future increases are reined in, and the system is now more transparent. Visit HoosierHope.org and let Governor Braun and Republican legislators know you support historic property tax cuts. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
Greetings, Boomtown. Ever since this neighborhood switched to Xfinity Internet,
The Wi-Fi is booming!
Xfinity combines the power of internet and mobile with one all-in plan.
So we've all got lightning-fast, secure Wi-Fi speeds at home and on the go with Wi-Fi Power Boost from Xfinity Mobile.
You get the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best in-class equipment and unlimited data included. Plus, add an unlimited mobile line.
All for only $40 a month for 1 year. To celebrate this combo, we're mashing our shows together.
It's everything you need all in one plan. Plus, learn how to get a free 5G phone with a premium unlimited line. Now, sit back and relax with the smooth, relaxing sound
of face-melting acid metal!
Brilliant.
Visit Xfinity.com to learn more. Ends June 23rd with paperless billing and autopay to stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet gateway required. Taxes, fees extra. After 1 year, rate increases to $110 a month. After 2 years, regular rates apply. Actual Wi-Fi speeds vary. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed broadband experience report August 2024.
If you love spring and Indy but hate the paint, do what Lynn did. She called Rhino Shield.
It is a single-wide manufactured home. We moved from our home, which we had the Rhino Shield on. Rhino Shield was what we were going to do. That was no question. We knew we were going to do it.
Rhino Shield's a ceramic coating. It's not paint, it's better.
The Rhino Shield representative came and we discussed what we wanted done. And this time we had the roof done as well.
Now you can have the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Even the people that have been a little younger than us have said they don't have to worry about getting just an everyday painter because Rhino Shield has the 25-year warranty. And we truly believe in this product.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
Get tickets now for Tales from the Track with Graham Rahal, presented by Relay Indiana, Monday, May 19th. It's an exclusive evening hosted by Hammer and Nigel and Graham Rahal as he shares highs, lows, and behind-the-scenes moments of his remarkable racing journey. Tickets on sale now at WIBC.com.
Oh, Todd Houston got loomered. That's awesome.
Yeah, he did. That's something, huh? National attention. Congratulations.
Not good attention.
Oh, right. No, not at all. In fact, she called him a rhino, and she said as a Mike Pence ally and co-chair of Pence's 24 Indiana leadership team, Houston's plan would make Indiana sin taxes higher than those in Illinois and even California.
So she being Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer, for those of you who don't know, a friend of the old Rob Kendall show, which used to air Sundays here on WIBC. Is an investigative journalist. She's very good friends with the president, which is a crazy thing. She got a lot of attention in conservative circles when she was banned. She got banned during the Biden years, got deplatformed, kicked off all the Twitters and everything else. And she had done a lot of exposure of various liberal causes, etc. Laura's a little wild. She not afraid to mix it up, shall we say, but a very interesting person and has a huge national following. And so she is weighing in on Todd Houston, the Indiana Speaker of the House, not being able to manage his money, the money of the state.
That's
and
right.
then when he couldn't balance a budget, he had to resort to stealing close to $1 billion from people in last-minute tax increases.
Yeah, she said maybe the GOP lawmakers in Indiana just need to learn how to balance a budget instead of using taxes as a babysitter.
Now, we'll see what happens out of this, because obviously she has a huge social media presence now that Twitter's been restored under Musk, et cetera. But she also has the ability to, shall we say, unleash not only herself, but her army of people that surround her, work with her, whatever, on whatever cause du jour that she's interested in. So we will see if anything more comes of this. But what a disgrace. So this is the Indiana Republican Party. Higher taxes, higher government, crony capitalism.
Yeah.
We saw it again and again and again this legislative session, and Braun and Beckwith did absolutely nothing to change any of that.
It looks like an inch towards the nanny state. Right now, we all know cigarettes are bad.
An inch towards the nanny state.
Yeah. Okay, a leap. We all know that cigarettes are bad for you. Lots of things are bad for you. Alcohol's not great for you. Where's that tax? Sugary desserts aren't great for you.
Don't give them any ideas, Casey.
Where's the tax on that?
Don't give them any ideas.
Well, I mean, you know, how about instead of taxing everything, you just cut your spending?
Well, that's the point. Either something's legal or it's not. I understand the sin tax in the sense of the government will continue to, it's Pac-Man. It must keep eating. And they recognize, well, smokers aren't sympathetic people, so we'll go with them. But either something's legal or it's not. If we want to have a conversation about should tobacco be legal, great, let's have that conversation. But if it's legal, then everything should be taxed the same, that we as a society say it's something that you are permitted to do. Now, here's what's very interesting about this. Now, when Braun was on with Hammer and Nigel the other day, he was talking about, no, guys, we don't even know if all these cuts are going to happen, because if the economy is better than projected, we won't have to do the cuts. What about the tax increases? You're going to undo the tax increases, Mike, if the economy's better? Oh, no, the tax increases
those will stay.
Are here to stay, because it's not about preventing. The government does not want you to stop smoking. Government, state and federal, could not exist if people stopped smoking. They have a vested interest in you continuing to smoke. If they wanted to stop smoking, hey, Casey, is crack legal?
No.
No, they banned crack. You can't legally do crack. It's illegal. If you wanted to stop smoking, you would ban smoking. But they know they can't do that because governments, state, local, and federal, would go under if they lost the tobacco revenue. So this is nothing more than a money grab. It was a way to bail themselves out, Houston and Bray and Thompson and Braun, because they cannot manage money.
Right.
And I thought Braun was supposed to be this great business guy. How is it the business guy who's worth $130 million can't manage money?
Reduce your wasteful spending. They found $1 billion in a week.
Yeah.
Imagine if they looked just a little bit longer, a little bit harder.
So think about this, Casey. If 2 months ago Braun had taken me up on my offer to run,
you could have been at the $4 billion already.
And they could have found the two and still given two back to the people. How about that? These people, I don't even. You can't hate them enough, Casey. You cannot hate how little they think of you, how they continuously take from you, how they view you as nothing more than a continuous ATM machine. And yet, for some reason, and maybe next year will be the year where it stops, we keep allowing the same people, despite the outrage, to run our society.
So Bray said there's no question passing a balanced state budget this year was a tremendous challenge, but we were able to do so by exercising serious fiscal discipline and making difficult decisions.
They raised taxes by billions of dollars. How is that fiscal discipline?
That's not discipline either.
And by the way, can we cut the crap on this balanced budget stuff? And I love Andrew Ireland, but even he was throwing this out today, and I just said, you're required to balance a budget. You don't have an option. You are legally required to balance a budget.
And then last night at 1:30 in the morning when they were wrapping it up, it was a big thank-a-thon, patting each other on the back, how hard they've worked. Congratulations. You get a couple months off. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 463-251-1912. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 463-251-1912. That's 463-251-1912.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your your family's health insurance, it's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. 800-659-7540. That's 800-659-7540.
Wondering when to plant grass seed for ideal results? Wondering who has the best lawn products? Well, now is the time, and great lawn starts with Jonathan Green products. Hey, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. And like Sullivan Hardware and Garden, Jonathan Green is a family-owned and operated business. Jonathan Green has only premium quality Black Beauty grass seed, soil foods, and fertilizers to ensure that you achieve noticeably better results on your lawn. By making your work easier and delivering an impressive lawn, Jonathan Green products will turn your lawn into a green space to be enjoyed with family and friends. Black Beauty seed mixtures are sold at Sullivan Hardware and Garden. Improve your lawn with Jonathan Green. Shop, play, experience. Spring with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
Hi, Jeff Roush for Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Navigator MSRP 105,575, Nautilus MSRP 6195, Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit CentralIndianaGunShows.com.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, how the weather will be changing tonight and into this weekend. Last-minute cuts to the budget that could affect you, and how 2 suspects in a murder case have been released. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
President Trump is on his way to Rome with First Lady Melania. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Where we'll be attending the funeral of Pope Francis.
And before taking off, the president said, while he's in Rome,
we're going to meet with a lot of the foreign leaders. They want to meet. Trade deals are going very well. I think Russia and Ukraine, I think they're coming along, we hope. Very fragile.
Now, his special U.S. envoy, Steve Witkoff, is in Moscow right now, holding talks with Russian leader Vladimir Putin the day after the president urged Putin to stop attacking Ukraine following a deadly drone and missile barrage in the capital, Kyiv. Now, this morning, another drone strike killed 3 more Ukrainians, and there was also an attack in Russia today, and it took out a senior military officer.
Killed when a device placed in his car exploded in a town just outside of Moscow, according to Russia's top criminal investigation agency, which said the homemade device in the Volkswagen Golf was filled with shrapnel. Yaroslav Moskalik was a deputy head of the main operations directorate of the General Staff of the Russian Armed Forces.
As Fox's Lillian Wu. Back to the president and trade. He told reporters he has talked to China's leader many times, but would not comment enough. They've discussed bringing down the high tariffs the U.S. and China are charging each other for imports. As for trade negotiations with other countries where some tariffs were paused,
I'm getting along very well with Japan. We're very close to a deal.
In a separate interview with Time, the president says he's made 200 trade deals, and they'll wrap up negotiations in the next 3 or 4 weeks. While the president flies to Rome for tomorrow morning's funeral for Pope Francis, it is the 3rd and final day of the public's viewing of the Pope inside a casket. Fox's Alex Hogan's there.
It is a slow-moving line. That being said, people tell me for most of them, it is taking them about 2.5 hours to get through until they get to the front. They're able to see the Pope himself, who died at 88 years old from a stroke and then went into a coma and then died of heart failure on Monday.
America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Have you ever seen the rain? But that's not the end of it. Scattered showers continue, but 65 into clear radar for now in downtown Indy until about 11. I'm Kylan Talley. Here's what's trending at 10:02. No matter where you are in Indiana today, you'll want to keep your umbrella handy. John Herrick with what to expect.
Rain is likely for basically the entire state on Friday, says Jason Puma with the National Weather Service.
Friday night, we'll see more showers and thunderstorms in the evening. Again, an 80% chance of showers and storms, and a low on Friday night around 48.
But sunshine returns for Saturday and Sunday. However, storms are possible again on Monday. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Political leaders say the new tax on cigarettes, cigars, and vapes in this year's budget is key to making Indiana healthier and closing a nearly $2.5 billion shortfall, says House Speaker Todd Houston.
Well, look, it was something none of us were prepared for, and we're surprised by, and I give Chairman Thompson and Senator Mishler a ton of credit for really getting in. I think I said this yesterday. I'm not sure I would have expected us to get to this point.
Last-minute cuts including eliminating funding for public broadcasting and reducing public health support, although lawmakers maintained the Child Care Development Fund. They altered eligibility requirements, removing the wait list, but reducing the number of families who qualify. A fire early this morning damaged 2 homes and left several people without a place to stay. Fire crews were called to a neighborhood near Woodhaven Cemetery and arrived to find one house on fire with flames spreading to the neighboring house. 3 people are injured, including 1 firefighter. Firefighters from Speedway, Brownsburg, and Avon all helped out. Before 2 suspects were released in a Howard County murder case, tough decisions had to be made. John Herrick explains.
One of the reasons they had to be let go is because the Howard County prosecutor Mark McCann says he and his team had another major trial starting on April 29th, and he needed them to be ready for that instead of and he needed his team to be ready for that case instead of the other one, and the staff is very short.
This was going to be what I felt in the best interest, their best interest and the best interest of citizens of Howard County.
McCann says they can refile charges later in the other case, and the search for justice is not over. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
It is game day for the Indiana Pacers, Game 3 against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Pacers lead the series 2-0. Tip-off tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. Listen to the game on our sister station, 93.5, 107.5 The Fan. I'm Kylan Talley, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey in 1 minute.
For over 20 years, Howard Bailey Financial has been helping families just like yours gain clarity, confidence, and purpose with personal and practical financial strategies. And now, we're offering our full suite of services on Rangeline Road, right in the heart of Carmel, making it even easier to meet with our experienced team face-to-face. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating life transitions, or just need guidance for your financial future, we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Text CARMEL to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement resource. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So the session's over, but I think something very interesting is about to begin, and that is, are we going to be able to pull the mask back on the Indiana Economic Development Corporation?
Yeah, that is going to be interesting because Governor Mike Braun has ordered an independent forensic audit of the IEDC.
Now,
quasi-government agency.
Well,
quasi.
So I know we touch on this quite a bit, but we have new listeners coming in all the time, so we just always want to do kind of a reset. The Indiana Economic Development Corporation is what they call a quote-unquote quasi-government entity, which means it's funded by your tax money, but it doesn't play by the same rules as other government entities, which means it's very hard whenever they want it to be hard for you to get information on how your money is being spent. And the premise set up years ago under Mitch Daniels was a common sense, streamlined way and hub to be able to promote investment in the state of Indiana. But like any other government thing, it becomes this monster that has gotten totally out of hand. And now you have hundreds of millions of dollars every budget cycle taken from poor and middle class people, pumped into this shadow agency. And what has really brought this thing front and center, now this has been going on for a long time, but what has really brought this front and center is the egregious nature of the LEAP district. LEAP is this innovation district in Boone County, Lebanon, which was facilitated with help from the mayor of Lebanon, the governor working in coordination with the mayor of Lebanon, Matt Gentry. Matt Gentry's father is one of the most powerful Republicans in the state. And together, they have worked to create this innovation, they call it an innovation district, which has been done on the backbone of the state, essentially strong-arming people out of their land, where they walk in with largely ridiculous prices, and then when they throw that offer down on the table, they say, well, you can fight us, but we're the state. Do you think you're going to win that?
Right.
And we've talked to multiple farmers who have said these people felt they had no choice but to sell.
Right, because you're just one homeowner, and that's the state of Indiana.
Right. So that obviously in and of itself, as this was transpiring, was there's a huge outrage in the city of Lebanon, or the greater Lebanon area over this, and Boone County over this. But then it hasn't produced any results.
Oh, there's that too.
What has happened is Eli Lilly got a mega complex out there, but because you don't know the terms of the deal or what was given to Lilly to come, I mean, you know some things, but not the whole thing. You don't know what the financial ramifications of that are. Also, Lilly will largely be, if they operate, you know, Lilly's a worldwide company. It's not like they're just taking 10,000 Hoosiers and going, here's $200,000 jobs. They're bringing people in from out of state. They're bringing people in from out of the country to work these jobs, which means to the rank and file Hoosiers who had their tax money used to facilitate this monstrosity, they're not seeing any benefit out of it. And now what we do know, because they can't hide it, is they don't got enough water and they don't got enough power.
Right. So what did this actually produce, and where is the economic development that is supposed to be going along with this? So Governor Braun has said, hey, we want an audit. Well, why is the audit happening? For one, some reports have revealed there's been possible misuse of funds. Missing financial reports.
Wait. Hold on. You're telling me an entity that takes money from taxpayers but deliberately was designed not to reveal information to said taxpayers, there might be some shady shenanigans going on with that?
That's what I'm saying. There could be some potential self-dealing, maybe some conflicts of interest.
No.
Perhaps.
Wait. You're telling me that a quasi-government entity that is put together and overseen by people like Scott Baldwin, who run a construction management company that make huge amounts of money off government-related contracts that are paid for with property taxes, and then they vote on property taxes. You mean those agencies might be a little not on the up and up?
Yeah, or you could say that they're operating with very low transparency.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So Braun has ordered this audit of the IEDC. Now, the question is it going to be done correctly?
Well, here's the thing, Rob. So the audit, it's going to be conducted by an outside firm, which is to be hired soon. It's expected.
We don't know who the firm is?
We don't know who the firm is.
Oh, I'm sure it'll just be some totally neutral party with no connection to state government whatsoever.
Wait for it.
Uh-oh.
It's expected to take 6 to 12 months. The audit will be funded by the IEDC itself. They're going to hire their auditors.
I realize it's radio, so I need to keep talking. But as you could see on the YouTube, my mouth was open.
Yeah.
Wait. So the IEDC, that is like saying John Wayne Gacy hired the cops to investigate how those 30-plus bodies got in his crawl space.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, boy, howdy, Casey. Everyone should just have extreme confidence in how that's going to work out.
How do you think it's going to work out?
I think they're going to find. Well, there may have been. Here, let me take a stab at it, Case. Are we ready? What is today? Today is what is today? The 25th of April, 2025.
Yeah.
So 6 months from now, what would that be? That'd be October, right? So 6 months, or it could be 12 months.
Could be 12.
But let's say it'll be 6 months. October 25th. Well, there were some accounting missteps, and certainly some areas that need to be reformed to ensure greater transparency.
Correct.
We've found nothing illegal has happened
Sure.
here. Yes.
Of course not.
Uh-huh.
So it's interesting because even last night during the budget conversation, the state budget conversation, IEDC came up again.
Uh-huh.
And this time from Representative Fatty Kador.
And by the way, when we're talking about the amount of taxpayer money that funds this organization, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars of your money.
Yeah. I believe he mentions it.
But I still continue to raise my concern about the IEDC. And I'm happy to learn that in the last 24 hours, the governor decided that it's time to do an independent investigation, or audit, better word than investigation, into the operations of the IEDC. I've been banging my head around or against the wall for 2 years in the budget committee, directly questioning IEDC practices in the most civil and respectful way, questioning why we spent almost $1 billion. When you talk about why we arrived here today, why are we nickeling and diming childcare and on my way to pre-K? We gave IEDC over $1 billion in the last 2 years between the land acquisition fund and the deal closing fund, and they were running around closing deals. And I've asked for 4 years for 2 questions that till this moment I never received answers from IEDC. They met with us multiple times. They provided some information, but till today, I've never received answers to 2 questions. The first, show me your models. I don't see individual income tax growing or sales tax growing significantly compared to the promises that you made for the billions of dollars of investments that you claimed you brought to the state of Indiana. Why is that not reflected in the revenue forecast? Second, every year they publish a report at the end of the year showing the rosy picture of how many deals they attracted to the state of Indiana. And I've kept asking for 4 years, can you show me the report where we failed? We gave money, and even it was performance-based, and it's not obligated to be clawed back. What was the cost of the opportunity that you give hundreds of millions of dollars for corporations that checked out after the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth year, and we never recognized the full potential of those projects?
Okay, so a couple things. One, first of all, Casey deserves all the credit for all the audio you've heard here today because she is the person who stayed up late. Well, no, I ain't doing that. And the draft was last night.
That's true.
I went and screamed about the pool, which we'll get into in a minute, in a little bit. And then I went home and watched the draft. So when you guys, this audio that we have, which is backing up what we're telling you, that is all 100% Casey. She deserves full credit. She was like, I went to bed and you were still texting me. I was like, woman, stop. It's midnight. I'm going to bed. Like, I don't care at this point, but whatever. Well, but
you're like, they're going to wrap it up when they wrap it up. I'm moving on.
Casey deserves all the credit for this audio that we have, which is such a vital part of our show. 2, Fatty Kador will be with us Wednesday of next week,
right.
Democrat senator, to talk about what you just heard right there. Now, let's also get a couple things out there. It's not like Fatty Kador is out there trying to be some friend of the taxpayer in terms of, he wants to give you all this money back. It's the same thing Ed Delaney.
No, he's got the other, he wants that money to spend it on other things.
Right, that's absolutely. So we're not going to bury the lead here or make you lead to, well, this guy wants to give me $1 billion.
No,
back.
he wants to keep it for his pet project.
But in fairness to him, he wants it on more transparent, wasteful government. At least he wants to let us know how our money is being not wisely spent.
I believe that he would say that he thinks it's a better return on investment to put that money towards schools and children versus economic development.
We'll ask him that's fine. That's part of his job. That's what we elect people to do, is to have those debates and discussions. The issue here is we have no idea how the money's being spent. The average person, look at how long it has taken trained reporters to get anything that resembles information from these people. That is what you should be outraged about above all else. Now, there's many things about how it's clearly not producing, or they would be touting it. It's not giving you the return on investment. Can you imagine if Wall Street, if we allowed Wall Street companies to operate the way the IEDC is operating, like, hey, I want to know if I should invest in so-and-so, or I want to know how my investment's going. Well, these Wall Street companies are required to give regular reports. And by the way, if they lie on the reports or they don't tell the full truth, people can go to jail. They're required to do that because you have the right to know how your money's being invested, but not if you're the government. If you're the government, you can just stick your middle finger in people's faces and go, we're the government, what are you going to do about it? There is zero reason that the IEDC should not have to operate in the exact same way that Wall Street companies do, which is the regular and full disclosure of how every single penny is being spent and how those pennies, how they have been invested and what that investment has yielded.
Yeah.
There's zero reason for that.
Well, it'll be interesting when Fatty joins us. He's going to be on the show, you said Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Okay. All right. And you had a draft experience last night.
I had lots of experiences last night. Which one would you like to get into?
Well, I want to talk about the NFL draft. Can
Oh,
we do
yeah,
that?
boy, there was I thought it was going to be boring, and then something happened, and it got really entertaining. And you know I love when people fail, Casey.
It's America's favorite pastime, right? Elevating somebody up, tearing them down just to watch them crawl back up.
But this guy totally deserved it.
Okay. It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
9 people dead in Kyiv.
70 missiles and 150 drones. Peace talks stalled.
Shows Russia does not want peace.
Hear the news.
If you smoke, dip, or chew, you're going to pay more for your vice.
$2 per pack tax is being added to cigarettes.
Persuade people to not start smoking.
As events happen,
A murder suspect.
we'll happen to be there.
Kevin Maddox dismissed staffing shortages, released from custody. Amber Brigham was also facing criminal charges.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are 2 very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. 317-480-4040. That's 317-480-4040.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee you, if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
Sorry, I was just watching so much that's still going on in the from yesterday. Like that's ridiculous.
I was just going to let the Eagles go.
Well, no. It's my time to talk. I get it. There was just so much crap that happened yesterday at the State House, and like you just can't possibly digest it all. So I'm still trying to, for our audience, understand everything that took place. Anyway, it's Kendall Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. Casey, last night was one of my favorite nights of the year.
Yeah.
I think it is the greatest single-day sporting event of the year, and that is round one of the NFL draft.
Yeah, the dude has often said that he wants to go to a draft in person. And when it was in Kansas City, I thought maybe he was going to do it. I asked him, well, why aren't you going to this one? It's closer. It's Green Bay, right? And he was like, not Green Bay. I don't know what scared him away from that one. But he says the same thing, that when it comes to sporting events, that is on his bucket list.
It is my favorite sporting event because there is no sporting event that is more psychologically driven than the NFL draft. Not just from the participant standpoint, but the clubs that are drafting them. The mind games that take place in the build-up to the NFL draft and the psychological aspect, because these guys are like lottery tickets. And especially your first-round pick in the NFL draft, because of the way their salary caps are structured, you have to get them right. If you look at any of the teams that are really good in the National Football League, there's a strong chance they're regularly hitting on their first-round NFL picks because of the way the salary cap is structured. So it's not just the player himself. It's not just how good could this guy be. It's, does he have the mental makeup to make it in the National Football League? And there's all these interviews that take place, the scouting combine, the workouts, all of this goes in to a bunch of quote-unquote experts, which are these executives from these NFL teams, trying to hit the lottery. And the reality is, way more of these guys fail than succeed.
Yeah, you don't know how it's going to work out at the end of the day.
And so to me, it's a fascinating moment in time where you realize, of the 32 guys that got picked last night, with most of them not succeeding, this will be the greatest moment of their life. It's fascinating. You're like seeing a movie play out in real time where you realize this will be some sort of Shakespearean tragedy where you are seeing the greatest moment of this person's life. Now, some guys will be really good, some of them. But for a whole bunch of them, it's all down. You're watching the slow burn from this moment.
This is the pinnacle.
Moment in time. And I love everything about the NFL draft. And I always hate when it's gone because it's like Christmas. You got to wait a whole another year for it to come back.
Well, the big surprise was Shadir Sanders. He was the favorite, right?
So Shadir Sanders is the son of Deion Sanders. He is a quarterback from Colorado. He, at one point last year, in November, was the odds-on betting favorite to be the number one pick in the NFL draft. And not only was he not the number one pick,
he wasn't selected in the first round.
He wasn't even picked in the first round. And what's interesting about the NFL draft, because you can bet on it now, it used to be it was all sort of shrouded in mystery. But now because there's legalized sports betting across the country, you can get an idea because money talks, right? The one thing above all else, people don't want to lose money. So when you see odds start to move on the draft, like the odds perfectly picked the first 5 guys. The odds-on favorites who are overwhelmingly favorites were picked in the exact order Vegas had them at. That is how you kind of follow things are what's going to happen. And his draft stock started sliding to where you were basically getting a little bit better than even money, but it was pretty close to whether he would even be picked in the first round. And it's one of the greatest late slides in the history of the NFL draft where a guy who's projected to be very high ends up not even being taken in the first round. And I thought there was something especially our younger people could learn about his experience, if you will just allow me a couple of moments here.
Sure.
So Shadir Sanders did not get picked in the first round because he's not a good player. He's a very good player. Now, how great of an NFL quarterback he's going to be, don't know. There's differing debates on that. But guys get picked that are quarterbacks because that is the most important position in sports all the time, that are flyers in the first round, because there's only so many of them out there, and every team is always looking, unless you got a Mahomes or a Josh Allen, for the next great guy. So you see guys get overdrafted at quarterback all the time in the NFL. And in fact, a guy went ahead of Shadur Sanders, Jackson Dart, who was exactly that. The Giants traded up. They took a quarterback. They didn't take him. He wasn't even the second quarterback taken. And the reason this guy went through this slide was not his talent. It's because of his attitude and because of who his father was and how both he and his father handled the NFL draft. And what do you call it? PETA level? What is it called? Isn't that what your name for it?
Pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Only butt is A.
Yeah.
Pain in the you-know-what.
And what these teams decided was this guy might be okay.
But his PETA level's too high.
The odds of him being okay don't square up with what we got to deal with potentially with him, and most importantly, his mouthy,
dad.
famous father.
Yeah, you always want to make sure that your PETA level is not higher than your worth.
And so Shadur Sanders, if you are a young person, I mean, really any person in the workforce, but for young people who are entering the workforce, because these are all young guys that are being drafted, this should be a great reminder for you that the number one most important thing when you are applying for jobs is not your talent necessarily, but what sort of employee does your employer perceive you as being? When you go into interviews, flexibility is the biggest key. Not you being the person that you want to be, but can you adapt to being the person your employer wants them to be? I tell this story all the time. I've been on one legitimate job interview over the past in my life. Like maybe 2 or 3, certainly in the past 15 years. I was asked to go interview as the communications director for the Hoosier Lottery. And I was like, oh, this will be fun. These guys are probably cool. They do cool stuff. I didn't really do any research, which I should have done. I didn't really care whether I got the job or not. But I walked in and sat down. And before they said a word to me, I said, all right, before we get this interview underway, can you guys answer a question for me? And they were like, yes, these are very professional.
Sure.
I'm thinking it's the Willy Wonka factory over here. No, these are like traditional suit people. And I just said, how rigged is the lottery?
They didn't like that joke.
They just stared back at me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I'll show myself out.
Right.
Now, the point is they didn't want somebody, even though the lottery is perceived as being fun, because they want people to buy the tickets.
They still needed someone professional to do the job.
That's right. The actual nuts and bolts of the lottery is we're here to make money, no screwing around. We're not handing over our press releases and media availabilities to some guy who thinks this is all fun and games.
Well, it doesn't matter how talented you are. You have to have somebody who's going to show up, because you can have the most talented person in the world, but if they're not there to do the job, what does it matter?
Yeah. So just a reminder, this guy cost himself a lot of money. Now, look, his dad's super rich and famous, so it's not like he's going to be in a soup line somewhere. But he cost himself a lot of money and a lot of endorsements and really probably an opportunity to play right away, because he didn't enter these interviews and he didn't enter the process and he couldn't restrain his old man to where people said, this is the sort of employee that we want to hire.
Yeah. Do you think that has to do with we have to get to the news? We could keep going on this conversation.
But we got phone calls next.
And we do. We've got some phone calls on the way. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Big Joe here for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical.
With a B&W Premier Club membership, you'll stay ahead of breakdowns and costly repairs. Our members get routine maintenance, priority scheduling, and exclusive discounts, saving you money and keeping your family comfortable all season long. Visit bplusw.com or call 317-214-0108 for more information.
B&W HVAC Plumbing and Electrical, your American Standard dealer since 1961.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What happened overnight while you were sleeping? I'm Kylan Talley. Here's what's trending at 10:03. Governor Mike Braun will have full control over hiring and firing members of the Indiana University Board of Trustees under a budget bill passed early Friday morning. Right now, the IU Alumni Association picks 3 of the 9 trustees. The new bill shifts all appointments to the governor and gives him the power to remove trustees elected by alumni. Today is the 3rd and final day of the open casket viewing for Pope Francis, who passed away on Easter Monday.
Good man. He loved the world, actually, and he was just a good man. I met him twice. I thought he was a fantastic kind of a guy.
President Trump gave these remarks about Pope Francis before his flight to Rome for the funeral. And last night, In the first round of the draft, the Colts picked tight end Tyler Warren to add to their roster.
I'm going to just play my hardest and do whatever it takes to help this team win games, and I can't wait to get up to Indy and see all you guys.
The next 2 rounds are tonight beginning at 7 o'clock. The Colts are picking 45th in the second round and 80th in the third. I'm Kylan Talley on The Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Look around. Spring is here. And no matter what you're planning or planting, Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. So spring forward in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle, including Chevys, Fords, Toyotas, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Shop any of Hubler's 13 locations and choose from over 2,000 vehicles. Every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty, plus a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. So spring forward, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles. Visit Hubler.com or any of our 13 locations.
Hubler's got you covered. Cover me!
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
J&V here from Miss M's. The greenhouse is filled with great spring color and tropical plants. Miss M's Home and Garden is your one-stop shop this spring for all things home and garden. Hanging baskets, bedding flats, tropicals, vegetables, herbs, herbaceous perennials, trees, shrubs, home decor, patio furniture, and more. If you need it for your home or landscape, Miss M's has it. Now is the time to get your home beautified for all summer. Miss M's is located on State Road 135 south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville. MissM'sHomeandGarden.com.
Planes, trains, automobiles, and motorcycles. If you've spent a lot of time working or playing around loud vehicles, you may have trouble hearing on the telephone. Get back in gear with Relay Indiana, providing telephone accessibility to the hard of hearing. Relay Indiana allows hearing-impaired callers to have normal phone conversations through voice recognition technology. And there's loaned equipment for those who qualify. Add clarity back in your phone conversations. Get the captioned telephone from Relay Indiana. Visit RelayIndiana.com.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
The Attorney General's Unclaimed Property Division has over $800 million just waiting to be claimed. Text MONEY to 46220 or visit indianaunclaimed.gov to claim yours today.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present voicemails.
Why do you always ask me if I'm fine if people are mad with me? Like, what? Haven't you learned after 3 years that you're like...
You always say put them to the front of the line. Well, because it's Friday, and I didn't know if you were like, let's do something light, let's keep it fun, or if you were running out of steam by this point in the week.
Oh, no,
like,
no. Like,
you're still ready to fight with people, huh?
Casey's so nice. She's like, this person is not happy with you. Is it okay if we play the phone call?
Well, I don't know what kind of mood you're in. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to deal with that.
No, it's fine.
Sometimes you do.
What did I do now? How is something my fault?
Well, we'll get to it in just a minute. This first phone call, you asked the question earlier this week, or somebody asked the question, why did Mike Braun run for governor? And this person has an answer.
Rob, a couple days ago, you said, I wonder why Braun decided to run for governor. Well, here's my thoughts on it. I believe he's trying to use it as a stepping stone to become the president of the United States. He was in the state legislature, the Senate, and now the governor. And it's easier to become president as a governor than it is a senator.
Well, he is 1 years old, so he's a very young person by presidential standards.
Mm-hmm.
What is he going to run on, though?
Right.
What would he...
Successes?
Everyone in my state hates me. What is it? What am I going to run on? Like,
I failed in Indiana. Let me do it to the whole country.
I mean, we just had some guy run for president who everyone in the state of Indiana hates him, Mike Pence. And how did that go for him?
Right. Not so well.
I've never seen a guy want to run for president and do nothing bold or big in his first year in office. I don't know about that.
A beloved governor ran and he didn't even make it far enough.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis. So
he could be right. I think at this point, great, good. Maybe
and you know what,
run, Braun, get out of being governor.
If that were true, then that goes completely against the reason why he ran for governor, because he said he wanted to get out of Washington, D.C. and come back home to Indiana.
A politician would lie for their own betterment?
No.
Casey.
I'm sorry. 317-684-8444. That is the phone number, by the way. Here we go. This person has an issue with you, Rob Kendall.
Hey, just calling. This is mainly for Rob. I'll tell you, I am with you on your disappointment with the tax, the property tax, all that stuff like that. And I understand that you kind of have a theme where you go, quote, off the rails. But don't you think maybe that you should kind of watch the name calling and all this other stuff? Because the issue is that you will never get them back in on your radio show again and talk to you. To explain their side of it when you just immediately start calling names. I know you invite people to the show. I get it. I hear you. I listen almost every morning. But if you start insulting people, calling them names, backdoor Braun, which I don't really care for Braun at all myself, so kind of like that one. But if you
what are we doing?
You just got air checked.
Oh, okay. Well, first of all, I don't know if you know this, Casey.
Mm-hmm.
Our show is overwhelmingly number one. Like, you've seen the numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't need them.
They need us.
They need us.
Yeah.
In fact, most of these politicians, I don't want them on our show because they're incredibly boring.
Boring.
It's like you could read the phone book and it would be more entertaining than hear some of these people talk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's number one. It's very rare, unless they have something very interesting to say, that we have the politicians on the show. That's the first part of it. Like next week, we're going to have Fatty Kadora on because he's going to talk about his call for transparency with the IEDC. That's a front and center issue. But we don't want to be friends with any of these people. We don't like any of these people. Which brings me to my second point.
Mm-hmm.
I think we tried the nice approach this year, Casey.
Right.
I think we went overboard on the nice approach.
Mm-hmm.
What did that get us?
We had a party in the governor's honor.
I don't. Every one of them screwed us. Prescott screwed us. Braun screwed us. Beckwith screwed us. What would you have had me do this year that I didn't do with the nice approach?
The name calling, it's meant to be fun, and it's meant to help brand these people.
And it works.
It does. You know who they are and exactly
people
what we're talking about.
Use these names now like in normal conversation in society.
Come on, when we say Duke of Spendingburg, you know exactly who we're talking about.
Like, what am I supposed to do with these people? I've asked this question numerous times because for years it was, Rob just doesn't want to work with anyone. If you were just nicer to these people, you'd get further. I couldn't have been any nicer or more supportive than these people to these people than for the past year. What did it get us? Nothing.
Right.
They made it worse. At least when I'm roasting them, it's fun for the audience.
Keeping them in line.
At least while you're financially getting screwed, it's entertaining. They deserve nothing because that's what they give you. Nothing.
He said maybe we could peek into their mind and have a dialogue. Well, first of all, we tried the dialogue. Didn't work. Peek into the mind. Ooh, you want to go there? I don't know if you really do.
No. We're done with these people. I said that when Braun screwed us. We're done. We're done. The old world order has reset itself. And we're back to do it. We tried to work with these people. Not only did they not want to do it, they lied to us over and over and over and over and over again. So what? They get paid $70,000? I mean, that's the lawmakers. People like Braun and Beckwith are making $200,000 plus benefits. They get to lord over society, and somehow I'm the bad guy in the equation for not saying, please, will you come in and talk to me? Talk to me about what? What are Rod Bray, Todd Houston, Jeff Thompson, and I going to have a conversation about? What are Scott Baldwin and I going to talk about? What am I going to have them sit in front of me and not say the things that I've said on these airwaves? Of course not, because I believe it. I believe the things that I say. These people are dirty, rotten, horrible people who steal from you to enrich themselves and their big business buddies.
I'm curious, what is your favorite nickname of all? You know, you had the Duke of Spendingburg, you had the Flanders Boys, you had Backdoor Braun, High Tax Holcomb, Spend and Sue.
Yeah, there's
one. Do you have a fave?
Well, Duke of Spendingburg is pretty strong, isn't it?
It's lasted.
I mean, High Tax Holcomb was a good one too, but it's like when a TV show goes off the air, it's run its course. That show's not on the air anymore.
Right.
So I don't know. Duke of Spendingburg is pretty strong.
That's pretty good. That one's up there. Here's another phone call. This one actually is for Kevin.
Hey, can you guys have Kevin put together a compilation of Rob making fun of Jeff Thompson with the Mr. Mackey impersonation? That'd be awesome. That's the funniest thing I've heard on the radio in a long time. Thanks.
Okay.
I mean, we've laid this out before. Look, I was around. My father told me this when I got elected. And you know how you like never listen to your parents until you become a parent, and then you're like, "Oh man, my parents were actually much smarter than I gave them credit for."
Right.
He told me this when I got elected. He said, "Now, son," he said, "I dealt with some of the worst criminals imaginable for 20 plus years." And he said, "You're about to enter an environment where the people there, they may not be behind bars, but they are every bit as dastardly and maniacal as the people that I dealt with." And I thought, well, that's not true. And we had this conversation last night, in fact. And he said, "Remember when?" I said, "Yeah, I remember." And he's right. He's right. These people and the way they operate, like I said earlier, it is a mafia enterprise down the street from us. Think about it. There's the head of the families. I mean, it's Houston. And it's Bray, and then there's the underbosses under them. These guys, you know, the lieutenant guys that give out the orders, and then there's the rank and file goons who just do whatever they're told. And it always ends the same way. It always ends with less for you and more for somebody else. Every time. Tell me a time where we ended a budget where it didn't, since Mitch Daniels was governor, where it didn't end up with less for you and more for special interest. I'll wait. But what, I'm the problem in the equation? No. I waved bye-bye to having to be nice to these people or deal with these people or accommodate these people or placate these people when I decided I wasn't running for anything ever again. And I had a momentary lapse of sanity for about the past 8 or 9 months because I so desperately wanted to get property tax reform for you guys that I said, against all my better judgment and instinct,
try a different approach.
I will try to help these people, and look what it got me.
Yeah.
Never again, Casey. Never again. We do what we do. We do it better than anybody else, and we are staying with that. Now, look, I was going to talk about the meeting I went to last time, but I'm going to wait till the top of next hour.
Okay.
Because that feels like a top of the hour sort of story.
We do have one more phone call I want to get to.
Oh, very good.
And this will end us more on a positive-ish note.
Hey, Robin, Casey. I've called in a few times, and when I first started listening to your show, I thought, Rob is so arrogant. He needs to calm it down and not be so arrogant. But you know what? I've been listening to you for a couple of years now, and I love Rob and I love Casey. You guys are spot on about just about everything I listen to, and I am so upset at Braun. I am not voting for him. I will not vote for him. I will vote for the Democrat next time before I vote for him, because it is ridiculous what he's done. He comes on your show, he lies to your face, and then he turns around and votes total opposite of what he said. I'm over it. He should have vetoed the bill, like you guys said. He should have absolutely vetoed the bill. So I just wanted to say I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and I love your show, and you guys are speaking the truth, and he will be voted out.
I am very arrogant. I mean, she's not wrong about that. But we're wildly entertaining.
At least you get that with it.
And Casey will back me up on this. Everybody's like, and you're such a nice guy in person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how is that possible?
It's true. You offered me an extra piece of pizza yesterday.
I did it. I didn't even have to do that. Hey, real quick, I did want to touch on something because Hammer's going to join us next hour, so we got a little bit more time here. Somebody asked, like, well, and multiple people have asked this, like, you and Micah you're not happy with Micah. Why are you keep having Susan on, his wife, on our Mind Your Manners segment?
Sure.
The answer is Susan's great.
She's not in office.
She's very nice. She's very entertaining.
Yeah.
She's not in office. She hasn't misled us or screwed us over in any fashion. Nobody holds my wife accountable for me. It's not Susan's fault that Micah's messing up. We love Susan. We got no issue with her whatsoever.
Yeah, so she will be joining us with
That's
her
right. You can't
usual Mind Your Manners segment.
Just because he's not doing his job, she's doing fine with hers. That's not her fault.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show 3:06 this afternoon. You know what we do on Fridays. It's Beer Sample Friday, along with the biggest stories in Indy. 93 WIBC.
Bands are us when dreams don't get in. Bands are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
Bands are us when dreams don't get in. Bands are us.
Yes, you got totally screwed by the Indiana General Assembly. Once again, you'll be poorer than you were the year before. But that's where our friends at Universal Windows Direct come in, because they said, we got you. We'll help you save a few bucks with their spring home improvement event. And my goodness, what a sale this is. Listen to this. 3 points. Buckle up. Here we go. First one. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No limit. That means you need 4, you pay for 2. You need 12, you pay for 6. You get how this works. Then on top of that, no interest until 2030. That's right. Upgrade your home today, and you don't pay a cent of interest for the next 6 years. Then, last but certainly not least, $500 off your home improvement project. So let's review. Buy 2, get 2 free. No interest till 2030. $500 off your project. Now, some restrictions may apply. So to get all the information and most importantly, schedule your totally free in-home estimate, call Universal Windows Direct today. 317-659-7574. 317-659-7574. Or visit them on the web. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Promises made, promises kept. Governor Mike Braun's bold leadership is already getting things done for Hoosiers. Governor Braun and State House Republicans are delivering massive property tax cuts. We're talking nearly $1.5 billion in relief. That's real money back in homeowners' pockets. But Braun didn't stop there. He cut local income tax capacity by nearly $2 billion and capped the local income tax rate to protect Hoosiers. And Braun led the fight to reform local government taxes, giving Hoosiers more say by requiring referendums be held in high-turnout elections. Thanks to Governor Braun and State House Republicans, your property taxes will be lower, future increases are reined in, and the system is now more transparent. Visit HoosierHope.org and let Governor Braun and Republican legislators know you support historic property tax cuts. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-672-6688. That's 800-672-6688. Again, 800-672-6688.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Busy day? No problem. The WIBC Mashup podcast catches you up with standout moments from your favorite shows. Fresh episodes every weekday. One click, all the good stuff. Get your daily fix. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
One thing I noticed last night while watching part of the NFL draft is all of the bling that the players were wearing.
The what?
You know, the big gold chains and the necklaces.
yeah.
And I saw one girl was giving her boyfriend a Rolex that he could wear on draft day. I thought
she was you mean like he paid for the Rolex and then he's
well,
like,
I don't know who
this
paid for it, but she was very excited that she was going to give him this gift while he was
wait.
taking part in the NFL draft.
You think some college kid's girlfriend just randomly ended up with a Rolex?
It could have been borrowed even, like just so he could look good in the moment.
Uh-huh.
But that is to tell you that gold prices right now are surging.
Yes, because we can't stop spending money in this country, and we do all sorts of really stupid things with our economy.
So gold is hitting over $3,500 a troy ounce. What is a troy ounce?
I don't know.
Just an ounce? But gold is hitting an all-time high right now. And, of course, this has been driven by economic uncertainty, stock market volatility, and everything else we have going on. People are going back to gold.
Well, I mean, look, the economy's crazy right now. I mean, you look at, let's just take Bitcoin. In the past 5 days, it's $10,000 difference. And what these things are, whether it's by the way, the last month, at the start of April, early April, it's $20,000 difference. This is not good. Economies work well when they do things steadily.
Slowly.
Whether it's traditional, hey, I'm in the market, or it's a CD, or it's Bitcoin or gold. When you are seeing wild movements in things, it's people searching for stuff. And you don't want investment people searching for stuff. You want investment people to be able to say, here's the strategy, here's the thing, here's what it's going to be a year from now. You know, like any person who thinks you can, you always see like these investment schemes. He promised me 20% year over year. Oh, did he really? Well, how did the guy in the second floor apartment, you know, with papers and Cheetos strung all over the place, how did he figure out how to get 20%? But the highest trained professionals in the world couldn't do it, right? So you want consistency, and what this is telling you is there are major structural issues in the economy right now. Tariffs are part of it. Spending's a part of it. The devalued dollar's a part of it. You know, all of these things go into this. And when you see things like Bitcoin or gold going up, it's people searching for something other than traditional means.
Where can they put their money? So investors are seeing gold as a safe haven asset. This, of course, amid all the instability that traditional markets like stocks and bonds are experiencing right now. And people are selling off old jewelry to cash in on buying bullion as a long-term investment. And my question is, what happened with the Fort Knox? Like, that was all we were talking about for a minute.
What about it? It's still there.
Well, I know, but did they ever open the doors? Is the gold there?
Are you implying Trump didn't follow through on something?
Well,
are you implying?
Do you remember that?
Are you implying Trump made
somebody wave him off? No, it's good. Don't come look.
Casey, are you implying that Trump made some grandiose statement and then didn't follow through on it and just hopes the public forgets because he says so many things?
I just want to bring back the conversation.
Where's the Epstein list?
Well, that too.
Where I thought the Ukraine war was supposed to be over in a day.
24 hours.
What happened to all of those things?
These things that just never got resolved. And it's just sticking in the back of my brain.
Really?
And it's bothering me.
The Fort Knox thing is, of all the stuff going on right now, the Fort Knox is what's really...
It's not bothering me. It's
it
just
clearly is.
Well, we're talking about gold, so I thought I'd bring it up again.
When you start gritting... I've worked with you for 3+ years. I know your tells. And when you start gritting your teeth, you're very angry. You're angry about the Fort Knox. Why are you so upset about this?
Well, did they go look and not tell us? Is the gold there? Is it not there?
I mean, they've always known whether the gold was there or
Why
not.
did they get waved off? Why did that just go away?
Because the government...
What about the drones in New Jersey, Rob?
Oh, see, now
what
here we go.
happened with
Sorry,
that?
I opened the Pandora's box. I should have just made you stay with whatever other topic it was that you wanted to weigh in on. All right, so I went to a meeting last night, Casey.
Yeah.
And we'll once again have to present the Lie Out His Ass Award to somebody.
I thought we passed that out yesterday.
Well, we did. I'm going to give it to him again.
Okay.
Because this really goes to the conversation that we've had in earnest for the past 4 months on this show is about how these local governments they weren't able to manipulate, these lawmakers know, but how they were able to steamroll these lawmakers into doing their bidding and screwing you on property taxes, claiming all these doomsday scenarios, and yet the things they're actually spending or proposing to spend their money on, it's disgusting.
Okay. I can't wait to hear about your meeting and more emotional blackmail. That's coming up from 93 WIBC.
Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity is up. Now is the best time in years to sell your home. However, some homes are sitting on the market. Hiring an expert who can maximize equity and minimize hassle is the key. That expert agent I recommend to sell your home is Mark Dietel. Perhaps you're worried you need costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what David in Martinsville had to say about working with Mark Dietel. We bought our dream property and had to sell our old place with land by the end of the year to avoid a big tax hit. We had an agent friend who gave us no activity for months. Worried, we turned to Mark Dietel to save us. Mark's team took over, marketed our property like pros, and got our property sold in plenty of time. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Nobody likes a cold shower. LD Smith has hot deals on water heaters. Save up to $300 on a new water heater install.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Tune in Saturdays 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show for advice and fun. Brought to you by Michaelis. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Trust employee owned. B Windows extending our employee discount to you. Up to 55% off, plus 18 months, no interest, no payments. Trust your home to B.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, what you should expect from the thunderstorms this evening and how it's going to affect you, an update on the Indianapolis fire from this morning, and what to know about the recent budget bill. It's 66 and raining at our downtown studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. All of that and more in 2 minutes after Fox News. And hey, happy Friday. It's 11 o'clock.
From the White House to the Vatican. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. President Trump on his way to Rome, where early tomorrow morning he'll join world leaders at the funeral for Pope Francis.
He loved the world, actually, and he was just a good man. I met him twice. I thought he was a fantastic kind of a guy.
People are still paying their last respects in the third and final day of public viewing of the Pope in his casket.
Seeing the body and just remembering everything that he stood for is very important.
More than 100,000 people have viewed him so far. Before the president took off for Rome, he told reporters he's talked to China's leader numerous times, but would not comment if they've discussed reducing the high tariffs the U.S. and China are charging each other for imports while negotiations continue with other countries.
I think in the end we're going to end up with a lot of good deals, including tariff deals and trade deals. We're going to make our country rich.
Now, the president also said he thinks they're making progress trying to end Russia's war in Ukraine. It's President Volodymyr Zelensky is also going to be in Rome tomorrow attending the Pope's funeral.
Trump was asked whether he would meet with Zelensky. He says it's possible. The president also says he has no deadline for these Ukraine negotiations. He only wants a deal finished as fast as possible. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff is in Moscow. The president says he and President Putin are already in meetings today. In the Oval Office yesterday, meeting with Norway's prime minister, the president refused to say what happens if talks fail, whether the U.S. will sanction Russia or revoke support for Ukraine.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. George Santos has just arrived in a New York courtroom where the Republican former congressman will be sentenced after Santos Harris left the House in disgrace last year. Just the 6th member ever expelled and scandally faces up to 7 years in prison.
After pleading guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft stemming from 23 charges for laundering campaign money and misleading voters. Prosecutors accused Santos of lying to Congress about his wealth and using campaign donations for lavish trips and clothing.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What to expect in your forecast. Rain is coming down, 66 at our Monument Circle studios. I'm Kylan Talley. Here's what's trending at 11:02.
Today is going to be just scattered showers and perhaps even a thunderstorm throughout the day. Could be heavy at times. Could get some pockets of rainfall of 1 to 2 inches, but those are going to be scattered.
Matt Eckhoff of the National Weather Service in Indianapolis says you can expect about half an inch of rain, but be on the lookout for isolated pockets of flooding. Our radar looks like there's going to be scattered showers up until 4 o'clock at the latest. Political leaders spent hours debating a provision giving Governor Mike Braun full control over the IU Board of Trustees on Friday morning before passing this final budget.
Every university has their trustees appointed in a slightly different way, but the governor appoints a lot of them, and it just made logical sense, I think, to give those appointments to the governor.
Senate Pro Tem Rod Bray says the main thing to know is your money was handled responsibly. Lawmakers in the Indiana House passed the nearly $45 billion two-year budget in a 66-27 vote just after 12:45 a.m. this morning. A fire earlier this morning on Friday damaged 2 homes and left several people without a home. Jake McDaniel with your update.
Firefighters say 2 families are for sure without a home.
When we got there, we had fire in the next house already. So we were fighting 1.5 fires as soon as we got there. Then it wound up being 2 houses essentially on fire.
Wayne Township Fire Captain Eric Bannister says everybody made it out of the home.
We had 1 civilian that was injured, minor injuries, that was transported for evaluation. And we had a firefighter hurt, but was released on the scene, was just evaluated.
He says fires like these do not happen often because they burn 2 homes at once. Firefighters are looking into this. Jake McDaniel, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indie Film Fest continues downtown with screenings starting at 2:45 this afternoon at Can Cinema and the Living Room Theaters. The festival runs through Sunday with Hoosier Lens features, including films like The Amateur Circus, featuring Peru, Indiana, Year of the Cat, Driven to Save Lives, and many more. IndieFilmFest.org for the full schedule and ticket information. I'm Kylan Talley, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. WIBC News Time, 11:04. Kendall and Casey with you in 1 minute.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Madan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did it. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at AdventKnows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
It's just $100 million for a town of 32,000 people, Casey.
That's it. It's because the other towns have one. So I think your guy there has a little bit of FOMO.
What is that? What is FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Oh,
They've got one. We need one.
Yeah, he's got something that begins with an F, but I'm not sure if FOMO is it. It's the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. That's Casey. So, obviously we've talked a lot about today, but on this show over the past 3 or 4 months, how just outrageous it is about how these local governments had the audacity when the property tax proposal was put out there that would have helped so many people, that they, in unified force, came out with these doomsday scenarios that you're looking at them. If you have any familiarity with local government whatsoever, and you're just looking at these people going, you can't actually believe that this is going to happen. And what they did was they became, years ago, I coined the phrase using kids as human shields. And I came up with that phrase to describe how these school systems operate referendums, because what they do is they always give you the worst possible scenario, and they present it as this thing will definitely happen.
Right.
I remember sitting in a theater when Brownsburg proposed the referendum, and the superintendent at the time stood up in front of a 600 people or whatever were there and said, we have to raise taxes by $100 million because kids could be at risk of an active shooter if we don't expand the hallways. And I just remember looking around going, am I the only one just completely outraged about this, that you just went to your kid could die if you don't let me raise taxes?
Emotional blackmail.
Emotional blackmail. And we'll get to that in a second. And so it hasn't been the cities and towns before, but for the first time, they became the kids as human shield people, except it was police and firemen.
Right.
All of these people who got up, the counties and the cities and the mayors, and it was, well, we might have to fire policemen. We're going to have to, and they got real creative with the language, too. Remember the one trustee, we're going to lose 7 firemen.
Right.
And then they asked him, you mean you're going to fire 7?
No, we're just not going to be able to hire them.
And, of course, then the schools were equally disgusting.
Because if they're not growing, they are losing.
That's right. They view not being able to spend more as a loss. And for the only place in human history, we're simply not, and it wasn't even not spend more. It's just not as much as you've been spending.
Right.
It wasn't even they weren't going to get more. It was simply not as much.
Right.
Decrease in the increase.
Decrease in the increase, because they are still increasing.
Yes. And so you saw like this Mooresville superintendent who said, oh, I'm going to have to shut the lights out. And yet these lawmakers just sat there. And this is what is enraging people, is how kindly these just straight out liars, like these mayors and these superintendents, were treated. And yet when we had our rally, not one of them came down and said anything to us.
No.
Polite or otherwise.
Yeah.
You don't even exist. They're like treated us like Stalin used to treat people in the Soviet Union. We'll just remove you from the picture. You don't even exist. And throughout this entire process, they kept this lie up. And the lawmakers, because they didn't want to do this either, facilitated the lie, promoted the lie, used the lie as reality that police would get fired, firemen would get fired. They turned the lights out in Mooresville.
No snow plows.
So I went to a meeting last night in which the town in which I live, despite the fact that numerous times the public has spoken against this issue, but because one guy...
Well, wait.
Oh?
I thought there was an outcry.
Well...
Go on.
Because one guy whose life's ambition... How pathetic is this? Like, think about, when my kid asks me, or when my story is told, Rob, what was your dream in life? It was to be the greatest broadcaster Central Indiana's ever seen and to have a #1 rated radio program on the station that is the most famous, important radio station in the state of Indiana. Now, I've checked 2 of those boxes. You can debate whether I'm the greatest broadcaster Central Indiana's ever seen, but I do have a #1 rated radio show on the most powerful media outlet in the state. So that I will proudly tell my kid of my dream. Imagine looking at your child and going, my dream was to be a state rep. And that is, for the president of the Brownsburg Town Council, Travis DeShane, as he's told multiple people, his dream in life is to be a state rep.
Is he waiting to be asked? Is he waiting to be invited? I mean, just run then.
Yeah. He can't, because there's nothing to run on. And he believes through this legalized vote buying process that if he gives the people this, well, it's not just a pool anymore. Now it's a pool and a rec center and an amphitheater.
Right. You've got the outdoor amphitheater, the outdoor aquatic center, and the multi-purpose indoor recreation center.
So
I've got details on those, by the way, if you're interested.
We were led to believe that throughout this whole property tax process, that if you got property tax reform, the police and fire were going to disappear. But this guy, because he wants to buy his way into the Indiana State House with other people's money, says we have enough money that we can somehow spend $100 million on this stuff on top of the, boy, I thought the $4 million empty patch of grass down the street from that was bad.
Yeah.
And yet if you got property tax reform, somehow the police and fire were going to disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, when you ask them how they're going to pay for this was the big discussion on this last night.
Yeah.
How are you going to pay for it? Here's a live, I've obtained exclusive audio from the meeting last night.
Oh, great.
A live answer from the town government on how they're going to pay for this.
Okay. I think, let me just interpret that really quick. Referendum.
Well, they got into that. Here's the thing, Casey.
Yeah.
This guy, Lord Travis Tushane, High Ruler of the town of Brownsburg. Now, for those of you who are new to the program, we call him that because he got mad, I once asked in a public meeting, politely, respectfully, not causing any disturbance during my public speaking time, how does an item get on the agenda? And the cops were weaponized. We've told this story before. He had the cop throw me out of the meeting, and then when the cop came out, he's like, because the cop knew, he's like, why am I throwing you out of this meeting? He goes, I was not even paying attention. I said, because I asked a question. He goes, no, there must be more to it than that. Then the chief of police came out and goes, no, that's what happened. Go back in there and ask it again. And I went back in there and asked it again.
Yeah.
They have this meeting last night about this pool. And
was it packed?
There was no one there.
Oh.
Casey, I counted. So that Lord Travis has come. There's this outcry. I'm hearing this outcry from the community.
There's an outcry.
There were 20 people in the room.
Oh, okay.
10 of them were government-related people or people there to speak on a select issue of government.
Okay.
So there were 10 people. 3 of them were media, too. So when you put the government people, the media, then there were 10 people. 2 of them were a council member's family, so that's 8. And of the 8, at least 3 or 4 of them were the people who are always there.
Okay.
So nobody came. Nobody spoke in favor of this. The last time this was put up for discussion, which was like a year and a half ago, I think the count was 13 against, 1 in favor, 2 in the middle, depending on what you do. We've already had the discussion. Nobody wants the thing. Our roads suck. We're told the police and fire are in mortal danger because of property tax reform, and we're proposing spending $100 million on a pool, on a community center, and on an amphitheater.
Yeah. This pool, a 6,400 square foot leisure activity pool with 0 entry edge. Separate 4-lane yard lap pool, separate water slides and water play structure, shaded shelters and cabanas, bathhouse, concession area. Rob, if Brownsburg gets this aquatic center, we could put the liner on the radio station that says Rob Kendall reaches the beaches and rules the pools.
So I love this because a year and a half, 2 years ago, they already had public meetings and proposed designs, and the people went and they spoke. And it's like a horror movie with this pool, Casey. It's like the pool is Jason Voorhees. You know, at the end of the horror movie, you can light it on fire, you can bury it at sea, you can blow it up, you can bury it 20 feet underground. No matter what you do, the hand just keeps coming back. And no matter how many times the people say they don't want it, it's back again and again and again.
There's an article here, and this is from the Brownsburg Sentinel. It says, if constructed all at once, today's cost estimates, $92+ million. They could use a 3-phase approach to pay for this, and the pool alone would be $20.5 million. The indoor recreation center, $55 million, and the outdoor amphitheater, $16.5 million. But it says no timelines have been established, and all associated costs are likely to increase over time.
Okay. Then on top of that, Casey, they just spent $700,000 renovating the splash pad. If you were going to spend $100 million on a swimming pool,
why fix the splash?
Why did we spend $700,000 on a splash pad? This is the point. So then when I got up to speak and by the way, our boy, the one politician who has never screwed me, my man, Glenn Adams. This is great. So he's up there asking questions. He's like, $100 million. Seems like a lot of money. Seems like a lot could go wrong. He's asking questions. And at one point, little Lord Travis gets so mad. I am called, what, he got point of order.
Right.
Do you have any other questions? He's like, yeah, I have lots of questions. He's like, I'm calling a point of order unless you have anything new to add. I got up there and I said, he's an elected person. He has the right to ask any question just like the rest of these people. You're that mad about questions? Some guy simply asking, what the hell is going on here? I asked how much the design for this thing. Right. We've already designed it multiple times.
Yeah. Yep. There are pictures.
And I did the math between the rec center they designed that didn't happen, the Little League fields they designed that didn't happen, the pool the first time they designed that didn't happen. We're like over $1 million in terms of design. How many police would $1 million of, like, you got nothing. You didn't get a road. You didn't get a sidewalk. You got some firm got rich off of nothing.
So they've been talking about this since November of 2023. So well over a year over a year that they presented this design, like a year and a half ago.
It went away. That's the point. It's like the horror movie.
And it came back. And so
we burned it alive. We thought it was over.
At Brownsburg.org, there's a FAQ question, FAQ, and it's the Brownsburg Aquatic Center. Operations. How will the Aquatic Center integrate with existing community programs and initiatives? I thought, okay, this is great. Let me just click on that link right there. Oops. We're sorry, but there's not a web page matching your entry.
And when I asked them how much did this cost to design, the lady goes, I'll have to get you an answer on that.
Let me get back to you on that.
This is why, and this is what, to bring all this full circle, because this crap is happening whatever community you live in. Like, these people on this council have the misfortune of me living in their community, so I care and expose it. But this similar crap is happening everywhere. This is why your property taxes don't go down. This is why we have to get out of the property tax game. This is why all this nonsensical stuff that Jeff Thompson did, that's not stopping any of this. This right here, they admitted in the meeting, they have these bonds that are falling off. And if the bonds fell off, which, by the way, Travis, if your life's ambition were to be a state rep, and you wanted to run against Jeff Thompson, who, by the way, everyone hates right now because of his bad property tax bill, wouldn't your focus be solely on how do I lower property taxes? If they, like, why am I writing his campaign for him?
Yeah, because he could say, hey, look what I did in Brownsburg.
Yeah. They have all these bonds that are falling off town hall, and if they did nothing, like if they just do nothing. And by the way, the property is this beautiful park property. One of our most beloved citizens owned it. He sold it to the town at a discount from shortly before he passed away, from what he could have gotten from other people. He wanted that to remain his property, a beautiful park for people to enjoy. He didn't want any of this stuff.
Park with a pool now.
And all you'd have to do is just let the beautiful park. This is why people hate government. Let the beautiful park that has been a central focal point, because it was a photography studio for years before that, where kids, generations of people got their senior portraits taken. Just let it remain a beautiful park. Let the bonds fall off. The taxes will go down. Everybody would be happy.
Right.
Instead, we're going to waste all of that on $100 million for a thing that nobody showed up to speak in support of.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
When you wake up,
you understand this is about money. 1,000%. They started this.
When you work,
as long as the category was all Bruce Springsteen all the time.
I told you I think I could win a game of Jeopardy. I could not go on a run.
When you drive home,
is it time to try something new, you think? Because it hasn't worked, and maybe try something new.
Traffic when you need it.
Stopped on 465 again. And
updates all the time.
I'm Ryan Hedrick on the level, on the go.
Stay in the know wherever you go with 93 WIBC.
Don Fisher here for QC Kinetics. I want to share with you the best thing I've done for my knee pain. I've been hearing commercials about the groundbreaking treatments that QC Kinetics offers for months. Meantime, my chronic knee pain had hit an all-time high threshold. I wanted to stay active and enjoy playing golf again without the pain. So I decided to call and book an appointment. And what I found out was that QC Kinetics is the non-surgical solution. I have no knee pain and feel like I did 10 years ago. And it's all because because of the non-invasive therapy from QC Kinetics.
Discover the solution to joint pain with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. For a free consultation, call 463-282-6886.
I'm back to playing golf and enjoying life. Take it from me, this is the best call you can make to relieve your orthopedic pain.
For your free consultation, call QC Kinetics today. 463-282-6886. 463-282-6886.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
They told us nothing but lies.
These timeshare thieves out there are terrible.
They bullied us.
Our timeshare is all a scam.
They stole from us. They were thieves.
I was completely taken advantage of.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder and CEO of Wesley Financial Group, and I know the tough spot you're in. Are you asking yourself, why did I buy that timeshare? I'll tell you why, because that presentation wasn't a normal sales pitch. It was a show to convince you that timeshare is a great investment. They told you it was available today and today only. They said you're foolish if you don't buy, and unfortunately, you believed them. We get over 3,000 complaints a week from folks just like you that were misled into buying a timeshare. Give us a call. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242. 800-881-4242.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-296-1251. 800-296-1251. That's 800-296-1251. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Spring's here and it's time for a new patio. Indy Decorative Concrete is offering free demolition. Offer ends April 30th. Visit IndyDecorativeConcrete.com for details.
I got nothing left to give, so you got to take this segment.
So to piggyback on what you were talking about, the pool in Brownsburg.
Why are you doing this to me?
Well, I don't know if you saw this because this just came out the other day. The Sheridan Town Council considering a proposal for an adventure park just north of the Westfield border. You had said if it's not Brownsburg, it's happening in your town, and it is. The Skylake Adventure Park would include a year-round adventure zone with a climbing area and zip lines. A warm weather wet zone would be built over a man-made freshwater lake.
And here's the insanity about trying to do this where I live is there's one in Plainfield. Mm-hmm. So everybody south part of the county is already going somewhere. There's one up there in Lebanon, right? So everybody around there is already going there. Whitestown has amenities. You have a consumer base of basically your town. Mm-hmm. It's insane. You don't need, if the public, this is what I've never understood, and I beat this issue back multiple times when I was an elected person, and I've never understood this with the amenities. If the public wants something, our whole society is built on people making money off things people want. If the public wants something, a company, a for-profit company, will come in and will do the thing.
Right.
They will pay for the thing and make the money. That's our entire capitalistic system. And yet all of these places are built on the government doing things that if the people wanted it, they would pay someone to do it.
So the Sheridan Town Council, they voted in favor to rezone the area, but the project is described as a dynamic, inclusive, and sustainable recreational water and activity park that will provide a safe, enjoyable space for families to engage in various recreational activities. Now, this is what they're doing in their area. Their proposal includes a plan to import white sand from the Bahamas.
This is your government now, right? Now, this is a government-funded project. Is that right?
Well, it's got to be approved by the Sheridan Town Council. So,
does it have a price tag on it?
I'm not seeing a price tag for this one. I don't believe they've gotten quite that far because they're still in the zoning phase.
I always viewed government as and Jim Merritt and I've talked about this quite a bit. I always viewed government as these things. It's roads, it's bridges, it's sidewalks. Mm-hmm. It's a public utility if you controlled what your water and sewer. It's public safety, it's snow removal, and That's about it.
It doesn't include floating cabanas on the lake or a 6,000 square foot splash pad or a 60-foot tall, 400-foot long tubing slide.
And I get to some extent a public parks department, although I think the parks people become the school people. Like the radicalized parks people are every bit as bad as the school people now.
Yeah, I was hearing about how trail money was cut last night in the budget, in the state budget.
But this is the whole system. And this is the broader conversation, whether you live in Sheridan or you live in Brownsburg or you live in Whitestown or Greenwood or wherever. The whole system is broken beyond repair. And when we don't have local people who are invested, we don't do the basics well. Very few communities can go, and we've got all our basics down really good. And society should be about, as an elected person, do the essential things that people cannot do for themselves. And those are the things that I just named.
Mm-hmm.
And then give the money back to the people and allow them, the private sector will take care of the rest of it. I mean, when I was an elected person, we dramatically tightened all the economic development standards too, because I was not in favor of the giveaways. And you know what? We had massive, it was like $300 million of investment, which 15 years ago, that was a huge amount of money. Why? Because we lowered.
It's huge money now.
Well, it is, but I'm saying even by standards back then, it was a massive amount of money pre all the COVID stuff and inflation and everything else. And it happened because we lowered everybody's taxes.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get, it wasn't because of the giveaway. It was because if you come here, everybody enjoys the same thing. Everybody enjoys the same benefit. And when you do that, you don't have to do super special things or financial giveaways to get people to come somewhere. And we are so far out of that game now. Our local governments are basically economic development people. That's one of their primary things they do now. The whole system is broken beyond belief, and that's why it's so sad about how epically Braun and the legislature failed failed all of us this time. This was our chance to try to fix some of this.
So Random House has...
Okay, see, that's right. The Sheridan Water Park proposal is not funded by the town or the government. It's a private event. Okay, but the question is the community facilitating that through infrastructure? That's another part of the equation.
Well, because they're going to need roads to get there.
Well, right.
Because it's farmland right
So
now.
is it in a tax increment finance district? Are they doing it through that? That is, when we talk about funding the thing, that is part of it, right? Unless the developer is paying for all the roads and everything else, then that's a part of the equation.
That's part of it. I wanted to mention to you that Random House has seen a need for the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution to be printed. So coming up in July, they're releasing some hardcover books of those. And in November, they're going to release hardcover editions of the Federalist Papers.
Oh, have you ever read the Federalist Papers?
Not the Federalist Papers. I have one book. It's not hardcover, but it's got all of that in one book. And I believe it also has common sense in there as well.
Okay, so every single person hearing my voice right now, and I will make a compelling case that reading the Federalist Papers is actually more, if you had to prioritize, they're all important, but if you had to prioritize, reading the Federalist Papers is actually more important than the Constitution itself, because the Federalist Papers are the writings of the founding fathers back and forth for the foundation of the country. When you always hear about, well, the fathers intended, or the founding fathers could have never seen this, it's all in there. There is no interpretation when you read the Federalist Papers and the writings that went back and forth on exactly what they pictured this country being, exactly how it's supposed to operate, exactly what they meant when they said these things. Reading the Federalist Papers, I think, is the most important thing any person could do who wants to learn about this country.
So book industry analysts, they see that there's a pursuit of political understanding across all different sectors, and now more people than ever are buying copies of these, which is why they're going to be releasing these hardcover editions. And they said that people are re-engaging with these texts as a better way to understand current situations.
All right, Hammer's going to join us next after the news.
Yeah, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Spring showers might bring flowers, but they can also bring roof leaks. Strong winds, heavy rain can expose hidden damage, leading to costly water issues inside your home. And the longer you wait, the worse it gets. Water can seep into your attic, walls, and insulation, causing mold, rot, and expensive structural damage. The good news? Moss Roofing. They offer free inspections. Whether it's a small leak or a big roofing concern, their expert team will assess the damage and provide reliable, cost-effective solutions. With over 35 years of experience, Moss Roofing knows how to protect your home from the unpredictable spring weather. Don't wait for a minor drip to turn into a major repair. For top-notch roofing services, trust Moss Roofing to keep you dry this spring. For a job done right every single time, visit mossroofing.com. Call 317-747-3665. 317-747-3665 or go online to Moss Roofing. MOSS. mossroofing.com. Tell them Tony Katz sent you.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
What Trump says his aim is. I'm Kylan Talley. Here's what's trending at 11:32. Trump is headed to Rome for Pope Francis's funeral this morning. Before his flight, he took questions from the media about the tariffs and his recent deals.
We have a lot of things going on, and I think in the end we're going to end up with a lot of good deals, including tariff deals and trade deals. We're going to make our country rich, but we're going to try and get out of war so that we can save 5,000 people a week, and that's what my aim is.
Ukrainian officials are continuing to meet with U.S. and European representatives to negotiate a potential ceasefire deal to stop the ongoing Russian invasion. NATO chief Mark Rutte telling Fox and Friends that he's optimistic about President Trump's latest efforts, but emphasized any potential deal with Russia has to be durable.
Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, the president of Russia, should never ever to try to catch another square mile of Ukraine, let alone try to catch a square mile of NATO territory in the future. And that means that he has to understand that when he will try to do that, the reaction will be devastating.
U.S. officials have indicated the administration could soon end its diplomatic efforts if they don't make progress. In a video posted on X Friday morning, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem giving an update on their deportation efforts.
Since President Trump has been in office, in just a few short weeks, we have arrested and deported over 150,000 individuals, many of them incredibly dangerous, that now our communities are much safer.
The announcement comes after the Supreme Court puts a halt on President Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to justify deportations of Venezuelans. Several ongoing lawsuits also accuse the administration of illegally deporting individuals who have a right to be in the U.S. I'm Kylan Talley on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in just a couple minutes.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon. You wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Meijer stores.
This Sunday at Life Church, there's an incredible event going on, and if you've got kids, you are going to want to be a part of this. It's called Silly Safari, and it's the leading provider of live animal conservation and education in Indiana. And what this is it's going to give your kids some really cool opportunities to learn about God's creatures and get the chance to interact with them personally. Life Church will be hosting Silly Safari at all 4 of their campuses across central Indiana this Sunday, April 27th at regular service times. With campuses in Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton, you can learn about Life Church on the web, lifechurchin.com.
Spring is here, and Dammons is full speed ahead with endless plant production of perennials, annuals, hanging baskets, roses, and planters. Trucks are arriving with fresh trees and shrubs. Damon's friendly staff is ready to assist you and get you the help you need. So for any of your gardening needs, experience Damon's South on Emerson Avenue and Damon's West on Rockville Road.
Damon's Lawn and Garden, Indiana's most complete garden centers.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
Help DEA keep our community safe and healthy by participating in National Prescription Drug Take-Back Day, Saturday, April 26th. Take action right in your own home by cleaning out your medicine cabinet of unneeded medications. Keep them safe, clean them out, take them back. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent prescription drug misuse before it starts. That's DEATakeback.com.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
What did you just post up at Hammer and Nigel on Twitter?
So if you want to go to the Hammer and Nigel Show Twitter account or Facebook,
You're
Facebook.com/Hammer and Nigel.
Yeah, I messed up. You're Jason Hammer, by the way.
I am. Thank you. Either one, our Facebook or Twitter. I might even put it on our Insta here in just a little bit. I solicited for the staff to send us their prom pictures, high school prom pictures from back in the day.
Yeah.
Because it's prom season. Like next couple of weeks, some schools have already had it.
Yeah.
But it's prom season. So if you go to Facebook or Twitter, Hammer and Nigel, you will see the prom photos of myself, Nigel, producer Allison, Casey, news director John Herrick. Now, not pictured are Tony Katz, who's under the knife. He just had some sort of surgery, so he didn't have time to find it. Matt Baer said his parents couldn't find his picture, and nobody wanted to ask Rob Kendall to go. So
I didn't go to prom. Neither time.
Didn't go to prom.
No, why? What's the point of going to prom? The after party's where all the action's at, and that's free. Why would I have paid to go to prom?
You didn't go to those either.
Oh, heck yes, I did, brother. Why would you? I wouldn't work.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Somebody needed designated Dave to drive him home after they got lucky. Rob will pick us up.
My strategy always was, all y'all are going to, well, most people have their parents pay for prom, but my strategy always was, y'all going to walk out poor out of prom. I'm going to work. I'm going to make money. I'm going to have more money than I went in with, and I'm going to go to the thing that's fun anyway.
Narrator, and go home alone.
It doesn't matter.
Rob's prom date was a tube sock after he got off of work.
Oh no, lacking the memories of it.
Memories of what? What do you do at the prom that is some sort of great memory?
Casey, let's not ignore the elephant in the room here. Who would want to go to prom with that?
You've seen the high school photos of me.
Exactly. Were you going to be in Ultimate Warrior makeup at the prom, Rob? Were you going to have the puka shell necklace on, Rob? Were you going to not wear a shirt, Rob?
Everybody knows the puka shell necklace thing didn't. Was that in the early 2000s?
Yeah, it was like at the beginning of Kenny Chesney's rise to fame. Like he was a big puka shell necklace guy, right?
Yeah.
But let's talk about the pictures that we do have right now. How about Casey Daniels in the prom picture?
Who's this guy?
You know what? His name is Rob.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Have you remained friends with Rob?
No. He's I mean, I know where he resides now.
Looking at his picture, and you're telling me his name is Rob. Is it really Bob Valenzuela from La Bamba? Are you dating Richie Valens' jealous brother who got mad that nobody liked his stupid cartoon pictures from the trash?
No. He's down in Punta Gorda, Florida now. I believe he became a plumber, and he's not as thin now as he was in that picture.
Welcome to the party,
right?
pal.
As I always go back to Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs. Is she a big old fat girl? She's kind of a bigger girl. Okay.
But Casey looks like $1 million, but I don't know if I trust you with Richie Valens' brother Bob, who wants to take you to Tijuana to get a tattoo.
You shouldn't have trusted me. I was.
You were the bad one.
I was trouble when I was young.
Do you have to wear a tux to prom?
No.
I mean, I think a lot of people do. You don't have to. Either a suit or a tux of some kind. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever worn a tux.
What'd you get married in?
A suit.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah, like the same stuff. It wasn't even a suit. It was the blazer and the dress pants, and I got married in my backyard. So Nigel in the van. Can we talk about Nigel in the van?
Yeah.
Holy hell! So I don't have daughter. I am a boy dad. Right? I got 2 boys. Rob, you are a girl dad.
Yeah.
Let's say your lovely daughter is 17 years old. Nige pulls up in that van to take her to prom. How do you feel?
I point my revolver in his direction and say, right back where you came from, buddy.
He's so... he does not look like he's happy to be there himself.
Would you if you were in that van?
Look how thin Nige
I was going to say he's very thin, and the suit may look like it had been borrowed from someone a little bigger.
Right? It's kind of got a little turtle thing going with Nige, where his head looks so little compared to the suit.
John Herrick, I love that his mom is standing in between him and his date.
Exactly.
Nobody's getting pregnant here tonight, Johnny boy.
So John's not even standing next to his date. His mom is like, I'm getting right in between the two of you.
And his date, to her credit, that's a beautiful dress. She's showing a little cleavage there. And mom's like, nope.
You did very well for yourself at the prom.
You look fantastic.
That was my friend Robin. We just went to prom as a friend's senior year, and she looks good. And of course, I look like $1 million.
Yeah, you do. You know who else looks like $1 million? Allison is absolutely stunning in this picture.
Right?
Gorgeous.
Everybody looks good but Nige.
Can we also point out how hilarious it was on Color Roulette the other day that some guy called and claimed he wasn't rich enough to get with Allison?
Right. Does she give off gold digger vibes?
You think?
She's the sweetest person in the world. The last person who would ever...
He knew what she deserves.
Yeah.
He knew what she deserves.
And I love it that she's got this reputation that she's so sweet and innocent. But you walk in here on a Friday, she's taking shots with us. She's having some drinks. Like, I feel like Denny Smith will cry if he found out what happened to his poor little Allison from the Home and Garden Show and here on the weekends.
So Rob and I cannot be more different. You went to 0 proms.
Yeah, that's right.
I went to 3.
Oh, you went as a sophomore, a junior, and did you go with a senior to your as a sophomore?
Yeah.
Huh.
Different guys.
Know what that was all about?
Yeah.
How was the after party?
What's coming up today?
Did Jenny Ruby go with Kirk Herbstreit?
I think so. I'll have to look.
Okay.
See if I can find the old yearbook online.
Yeah, what's coming up this afternoon?
This afternoon, it's Beer Sample Friday. We're going to have some barguments. Man, it's Friday. Let's laugh. Let's have a good time. And the party starts at 3.
All right. Thanks, Hammer. And Susan Beckwith is going to join us next for the Friday edition of Mind Your Manners with 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show 306 this afternoon. You know what we do on Fridays. It's Beer Sample Friday, along with the biggest stories in Indy. 93 WIBC.
Promises made, promises kept. Governor Mike Braun's bold leadership is already getting things done for Hoosiers. Governor Braun and State House Republicans are delivering massive property tax cuts. We're talking nearly $1.5 billion in relief. That's real money back in homeowners' pockets. But Braun didn't stop there. He cut local income tax capacity by nearly $2 billion and capped the local income tax rate to protect Hoosiers. And Braun led the fight to reform local government taxes, giving Hoosiers more say by requiring referendums be held in high-turnout elections. Thanks to Governor Braun and State House Republicans, your property taxes will be lower. Future increases are reined in, and the system is now more transparent. Visit HoosierHope.org and let Governor Braun and Republican legislators know you support historic property tax cuts. Paid for by HoosierHope.org.
Come on, Indy. Don't use the spring to paint your house year after year. Do what Deanna did. She called Rhino Shield.
I was noticing some cracks and the paint's faded. I was like, okay, I think I should get my house painted. So my neighbor had a Rhino Shield placard in the yard. And after they were finished, I was just, wow. With the warranty and everything, it just seemed silly not to go that route.
The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield is specifically formulated for our climate.
So the Rhino Shield crew came out. Nothing was damaged in the process. I was very happy. They just didn't leave a mess. You couldn't even tell they were there. And the house looked so different. It just looked like a new home.
Backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. And now get the protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Rhino Shield, I think it increases the value and the curb appeal of your home. Definitely worth it.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Garage Doors of Indianapolis is everything that's right about Central Indiana. They've been locally family-owned for 50 years, helping our local economy remain strong by employing 70 families. Garage Doors of Indianapolis is proud to do business right here in the great state of Indiana. They're a conservative-minded company that shares our values and stands by their products and services. You can call Garage Doors of Indianapolis today for service today. 875-4577, 875-4577, or visit doorstoday.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in focus and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
101 West Ohio, Indianapolis. CordellCordell.com.
From military life to a rewarding career in IT, kickstart your new journey in a matter of months in the fields of IT and cybersecurity, including AI. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including VA benefits.
I gave it a shot, and I came in and had the procedure done. To me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago.
Weekday mornings at 7:15, the Tony Katz Popcorn Moment. Brought to you by Boer Remodeling. Don't wait any longer for the kitchen you've been dreaming of. Request a consultation at boerremodeling.com.
More tariffs later, tornadoes possible.
WIBC.com gives you more than just headlines. It's context, updates, and insight. Whether you're at work, on the move, or catching up late, the latest is already there. Stay in the know while you're on the go at WIBC.com.
Susan, looks like I'm losing.
Casey, it's that time.
It is. It's Friday, Rob.
It's your favorite part of the week.
Before we can say goodbye to each other.
I'll see you on Monday.
You never know. I might show up at your house Friday night.
Well, that's fine. You know where to go. The front door will be wide open for you, sister.
That's true. But you know what we do before we leave on Fridays? We turn it over to former Miss Indiana.
Yeah, not to indict you, our very fabulous audience, but let's face it. You people need a lot of help.
Yeah, that's true.
And we want you to go into the weekend being better, more productive members of society.
Mm-hmm.
So we came up with this segment called Mind Your Manners. We bring in each week, not just some rank and file amateur.
No, she's the second first lady.
She's the second lady. Yes. She's the second lady.
Yeah.
Don't start that. That'll become a thing.
Yet.
Yes. The Star will run an article.
It's true, they will.
Susan Beckwith plotting to become First Lady of Indiana. Susan Beckwith is her name. She's a former Miss Indiana. Susan, hello.
Hello, and happy Friday. We made it.
Okay, so I think this article is interesting that you want to talk about today. I've seen a lot of trouble with people behaving themselves in this capacity. That is being a passenger while someone else is operating a motor vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just came across it, and it made me laugh because I kind of had a similar experience, but on the opposite side of things. So the article, they wrote mismanners, and basically they were passengers in the back seat, and the person driving was going 95 miles per hour, and it was pretty terrifying for them. And so on the return trip, this husband just said, "Hey, would you be able to just drive a little bit slower?" And the driver was so incensed that he would critique him that he stormed out of the car and said, "Fine, you can drive." And so it was this whole thing. So he was asking, should I have even mentioned it? And so
wow. All right.
I feel like in that circumstance, it's a safety issue.
Yeah. All right. Wait. So you had your own issue? Like you were driving and someone was being a nuisance?
No. So when I was going back for my master's, I was working full time. I would work all day and then go to class for 3 hours up at Ball State. And I ended up carpooling with this gal, and she was so sweet. We knew each other from high school, and she was wonderful. But when she would drive, when she'd get really tired, she'd go super slow. So I'd look over, and on I-69, we'd be going like 50 miles an hour.
Pick up the pace, lady.
Right. I was more worried, like, I wanted to say something to say, we're going to be literally ran over and this is not safe because you're going too slow. So I think that's where also you can say something, but of course delivery is always important to remember.
All right, so let's start with this. Do I, as a passenger, have the right to criticize your driving?
I think when it's a safety issue, like where somebody's going 100 miles per hour, I think it's fine. But in general, I would say refrain, because if they're toting you around, using their resources, their time, I think that's where you need to just bite your tongue.
Oh, okay. Now, what if you're the passenger princess with your spouse and you're driving 80 plus miles per hour in the mountains at night in the winter?
Boy, that's oddly specific, Casey. You're really getting into...
And you're feeling like it might be a safety issue. Can you say that knowing full well that you can take over driving?
Yes. I mean, if you're truly concerned for your life. But I think about all the time when I was learning to drive in Kentucky with my father, I like to hug the outside line. And in Kentucky, yeah, that is scary because there's like a drop off. There's no like shoulder. But so in that circumstance, I feel like if there's ever a safety issue, it's fine to speak up. But otherwise, I think just if it's a stylistic thing or, I remember carting Micah around with his foot because of surgery recently. And I'm like, feeling that he probably would say he doesn't love my driving.
Susan Beckwith is our guest. It's Mind Your Manners. We're talking about how to be a better passenger in a motorized vehicle. All right. Do I have the right to touch the radio? Am I not supposed to touch anything?
Well, here's a good way to think about it in general, whether or not you're critiquing their driving or, handling the air conditioning or the radio. The driver is truly the host. So you would never walk into somebody's home and just start moving things around or, critiquing something in their home. So I think about, since they're the host of the car, that might be helpful.
Yeah, so next time you're in my house, Casey, stop touching my stuff.
Yeah, no, I get that about the radio. In our car, the rule is if you're driving, you get to control whatever the audio is. But when it comes to temperature, I mean, now they make cars so that you can split. If you need it a little warmer, somebody else needs a little cooler, you got the seat warmers and coolers. I feel like you can kind of dictate your own temperature on your side of the vehicle.
Absolutely, which is really nice because I feel like I tend to run cold, so I absolutely keep mine different than Micah. So I love that. Something else, if you are on a long road trip, as far as being just a considerate passenger, is offer to help pay for gas. Provide snacks, and just thinking about even packing the car. Don't leave that strictly to the driver. Be willing to help. So those are just some things also as far as thinking about being a good passenger.
Yeah. I think also being a good passenger is making sure the driver has any liquids that they need, like some water or any sort of, if it's a long road trip, yeah, you got to help them out.
Wait.
And keep the conversation going so they stay awake and alert.
Yes.
You're getting oddly specific about things. Like, do you look at your husband and you're like, you need more fluid, sweetheart?
No, I do. I ask him, I'm like, what do you need? Do you need something to drink?
He's driving a car. He's not playing in an NBA basketball game, Casey.
No, I know, but when you're driving across the country, though, you want to make sure that the driver is awake and has everything they need.
He's a grown man. He knows how to pull over to a gas station if he wants something to drink.
Yeah, I know, but if it's in the back seat, he can't reach around while he's driving, so I'll make sure that I, am the one who's delivering that.
Oh, I bet you're a blast to go on I bet those trips to Baltimore. Now I see why Jim always stays home.
I'm fun to drive with, Rob. You don't even know.
Susan, all right, one final tip if you're a passenger on how to not thoroughly annoy the person charioting you from one destination to the next.
Oh, golly. I feel like we've touched on a lot of them. Just honestly keep your lips zipped as far as, if you're – I feel like mine, the one I always hear is, you're trailing too closely or, you're driving too fast. So just be very conscious that if it's not truly a safety issue, just be quiet.
All right. I think we've determined from this segment that women drivers in general are the problem as drivers, also as passengers. That's what I got out of this segment. Thank you, Susan, for confirming what I've thought for years to our very vast audience. All right. Tell us about your website, Belle of the Midwest.
Yeah. Get in touch with me if you have more etiquette questions. I love hearing from you. You can also check out our blog where we've touched on a lot of these same topics that we cover on Mind Your Manners. Perfect to share with someone, especially if you think they need it. And follow me on social media.
Belle of the Midwest, Belle of the Midwest.com and Facebook. Susan, thank you.
You guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, you too. And that's it, Rob.
I always knew women were the problem
Our
in the automobile.
92 county road trip is off. We're not doing it.
My wife all the time will be like, "You're not even listening to anything I'm telling you." That's right. Stop talking.
I'm focusing.
Quiet in the car.
Zip it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to zip it for today. Hey, Rob, you know what?
What?
Sine die.
Oh, yes, for this show this week.
That's right.
But unlike the lawmakers say making $70,000 to work 3 months out of the year, we got to come back on Monday.
We will be back on Monday. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for listening today. This has been Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Indiana patients rely on many types of pharmacies to access their medications and critical healthcare services. But a proposal being considered in the Indiana legislature called SB 140 would disrupt access to medications for Indiana patients. SB 140 would impose government mandates blocking access to critical pharmacy options and services in Indiana. Lost access to pharmacy options would directly harm many of Indiana's most vulnerable patients, including patients fighting cancer and heart disease, many of whom rely on specialty pharmacies for their care. SB 140 would even hike costs for Indiana patients by imposing a $10 tax on every prescription filled in the state. That would often fall directly on the patient. Tell your state legislator, protect access to medications, reject higher costs. Put Indiana patients first by voting no on SB 140, paid for by conservatives for lower healthcare costs.
Hi, Jeff Roush for Tom Roush Lincoln. Right now, get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators, up to $8,000 off select 2024 Nautilus, or up to $7,000 off select 2024 Corsair at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
Navigator MSRP 105,575, Nautilus MSRP 6195, Corsair MSRP 47,820. Offers good through 4/30/2025. Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. The greenhouse is filled with great spring color and tropical plants. Sundown Gardens is your one-stop shop this spring for all things home and garden. Hanging baskets, bedding flats, tropicals,